It's baseball time in Texas, in Baltimore, and here on YouTube. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the show. My Rangers versus somebody's Baltimore Orioles. My Rangers just frankly not doing their job scoring runs. The Orioles not doing much of anything, but they are a talented team. We're a talented team. Hey, Kane, I see you in there, buddy. I'll bring you in a little bit, okay? I'm excited for this series. It is hot here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it is hotter. What? Do I have audio going? Hold on. I got audio going in my background. I gotta get that go away. There we go. I had to shut myself up there. Anyway, the Orioles aren't as hot as the weather. It's hotter there than it is here, over 100 degrees in the Baltimore, Maryland area. We've got Patrick Corbin on the hill. We've got interesting pitching for this series. TBD, maybe Dane Dunning, who's up for Caleb Bosley. Bosley gets sent down after getting kind of hung with the well, he had to take one for the team, let's put it that way. And it was obvious that they would send him down. Maybe less obvious. Hey, Dean, what's going on, buddy? Maybe less obvious that Dunning would come up, but I thought he might get a shot at some point. Certainly didn't know it would be this week. Tomorrow would be the day he would start. Bochy just said that on the pregame. I was just watching it, and it makes a lot of sense, but they might use him today. Bochy just said if they need to use him for 2 or 3 today, he doesn't start tomorrow. But if they can get through today, he probably starts tomorrow. Hey, Haley, how are you? I see you and Dean in the chat. What's going on, my friends? Really appreciate you both being here. Haley, I sent you a DM yesterday. Check it out. I'd love to have you on the show if you want to talk while they're on the road. Jacob Latz might also get a start. He could be Wednesday, but let's see how it goes. If we get innings out of Patrick Corbin today, it makes the whole series with Baltimore a lot better. If not, well, then who knows what the heck's going to happen. Latz has been looking really, really good. I hope he does get a chance to start. That would be amazing. Dunning has been doing all right down in the minors, but it is what it is. When you're talking about Corbin, Dunning, Latz as your best, what's the word? Your best scenario for this series, I'm a little worried. And then you add in there, it's 120 degrees. Okay, 104, 103, whatever. We need a length game from Corbin today. Should be interesting. Baltimore, again, very talented team. Hasn't done a lot this year. That's scary, right? I guess you could say the same for us. Let's talk about the run of show today. He's in the background right now. We're going to bring in Kane here shortly. Let's talk about what we got going on today. The bottom, after the top of the first inning, we're going to bring in Kane McCutcheon. Who is he? Well, I'll let him tell you, but he's a Ranger and a Wings beat writer. And we got stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about the Rangers, of course. We're going to watch the game together. We're going to have a good time. And we're going to talk about the MLB, what's going on today. Boy, lots of news are in and around Major League Baseball, and there's other games starting up. We'll watch those throughout the game. Towards the 6th inning, we'll probably talk about the College World Series, and then the WNBA, which he covers, the Wings. We're going to talk about it. I probably am less of a fan than him. We'll talk about that, and that'll be a good time. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but whatever else happens, both in this game and in and around the league. Let's say hi to people in chat. Dean, the turkey legster, my good friend from the Wayback Machine, wanted to pop in and say hi. Dean, love you, buddy. Good to see your name in the chat. We're having a beautiful day. Texas Haley, good friend of mine too. Hey, I'm good. I'll check it. Yeah, love to have you in. I'm bringing in some guests. Today, we're going to have Kane maybe for the whole show. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Tomorrow, John Moore from DLLS should be on for a couple innings. Got a couple other maybes. People are asking, and we'll see how it goes. I'll put out the run of show either tonight or tomorrow for that. And then we'll go Wednesday also. We'll talk about that when we get here. Thursday, day off for my Rangers. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know what my schedule is. I've got one of my daughters having a birthday, so we'll just see how that goes. So that's what we're going for the rest of the week tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday in Baltimore. As it goes for the Rangers, day off Thursday, Seattle at home, Baltimore. So we get 6 of the next 9 games against the Baltimore Orioles. Kane, I see you back there. You want to come in now? I don't need to wait. We're going to bring him in right now, guys. Let me find the button. There it is. Kane, can you hear me?
I got you. What is up,
How
guys?
how you doing, buddy? You're coming in early. You're saying you might stay long. You are my favorite guest of the
Oh
year
yeah,
already. How you been?
I'm ready to go. I'm doing great. I love doing this stuff. Love talking ball with you guys. It's so fun. So I'm very excited to be here.
I love it. I love it. I should have brought you in for the run of show because it's all about you. We're going to talk about Kane and this Kane and that. So, how are you, buddy? How's your day going? Is it hot where you live? I mean, I don't know exactly where you live, but you're in the DFW area, so it's roasting here.
Yes, I am in Burleson, so it is a little
Okay,
see here as well. Shout out to the South Fort Worth guys, Hobie Milner, another Fort Worth guy. So I was glad
there you
glad
go.
we got him bringing another Fort Worth guy. Yeah, it is a little toasty. Did have a nice swim in the pool, so I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. Uh,
Nice.
we'll see. I like the hot weather. Being from here, I like the hot. So
I'm from California. I used to say that I hot weather in Texas is a different breed. No, I like San Diego beach weather. That's that's what I miss. But it's been a long time. Let's tell them about you. I know you. I think most of the people in the chat know you, but I guess I shouldn't assume that. Why don't you take a minute and tell everybody what you do? You're a beat writer for the Rangers, the Wings. I'm going to shut up. Why don't you introduce yourself to the crew?
yeah, so I have the immense honor of getting to connect you guys with your favorite team every day. That is my goal. I get to cover the Rangers and the Dallas Wings, and I love sports, love baseball, love basketball. So it's so fun doing that every day, and it's a huge honor. I'm super
I
blessed
mean,
doing what I do every day. Super fun.
that's pretty cool. It is really cool. And we'll probably get into that at some point. I've talked to you about it on other times. I actually had a pretty long interview with you that stuff happened with my life and I never even got to post it. So I'll probably do some of those kind of introductory. How'd you do this? What's it like to be that? We'll get to that. We got a whole game unless we scare you away. You still good for most of the game?
Oh, I'm good. I would be watching. I'm watching this game anyway. That's the part of it when the team is on the road. I'm still doing the same thing. So I
Right.
will be watching this game anyway. Excited to watch. Looks like we've got Haggerty about to lead it off. Let's go. Let's
I
see what
love it.
happens.
I love it. Natalie's in the chat. EC needs to get it bats against lefties more to improve. I agree with that. Haley says, Kane, are you usually on the field for batting practice? I'll be on the field Friday. Oh, very cool. Texas Haley wants to say hello to you. You get to be on the field there pregame, I'm assuming, yes?
Yes, I am on the field during batting practice. I usually will stay for Rangers batting practice and then leave when the visitors take batting practice, unless there is, a player that I really just have to see. Like certain guys come to town, you're like, all right, I got to see them. I got to stand 50 feet from them while they take batting practice and see, what makes them so good. So, yeah, we'll be down there for sure.
I love it. Yeah, me and Haley are often in the same. When I'm at the game, she's in more games than me this year. But when we're at the game, I'm often on the rail with her. I'm taking video. She's getting autographs. It's a lot of fun. Haggerty swings and misses 2-2. We're not going to do a full-on play-by-play by any means here. We're watching the game. We call it a watch party because I watch the game. He's watching the game. You guys watch the game. Of course, I tell you what's going on. I have learned that more and more people who are from out of town will watch the show and do want some play-by-play. I'm that's not what this show's about, but I will tell you what's going on. And it's 2-2 with nobody out to our leadoff hitter, Sam Haggerty. I got to be honest with you, Kane. I want your opinion on this. I kind of mocked the pickup when we picked up Haggerty as he lines one into left field. Get down, ball. It doesn't F7 and one out. I think that what I saw in Haggerty was a guy who was coming off an injury, right? And wasn't kept by the team that had him, who needs offense. So I thought, what are we doing? Maybe and I think I said this organizational depth. Boy, was I wrong. This guy's having a really nice year. I mean, he made it out right there. But what are your thoughts on Haggerty and what you think when they got him and what do you think about what he's been producing for us?
Yeah, he's been really good. One of those, low risk, high reward signings. So you kind of, expectations with those guys are rather small. And it's like, anything you can get for them would be great. But he's been really good. He's just an all around
Yeah.
ball player. He's like the guy in the little league team, that can play multiple positions, switch hits. Like he's been really good. He's a veteran player that's been there, done that, takes good at bats. Really good in the field, a good athlete. I always tell people, a lot of people ask me about if certain baseball players being athletic, and I tell them, I'm like, well, there's some guys in the league that aren't the most athletic. He is definitely not one of those guys. He's been really good when he has come into the lineup. And I think it's important too that to note that he's one of those players that can sit on the bench for a week and then come in and be effective, because young players can't do that. And I see people all the time talk about how, oh, let's just put so-and-so up on the bench, this young guy, and then if we need him, we can call him in. But young players don't thrive in that role. And Sam Haggerty is certainly one of the guys that does. So, you need guys like that on your team. And yeah, I think he's been more than what you could have asked for so far.
Yeah, I mean, what a really good point. I agree with all that. I think for me, the part of it also was I thought of him as a second baseman who they threw out in the outfield, but I've been very impressed with him out in the outfield. I mean, he's looked plus defense for sure, and I don't think he's even played any second base. Maybe he has, not that I can recall. But and I might even be wrong. Maybe he wasn't a second baseman first, but in my head, that I thought, well, we've got Zeke, we've got Smitty, we've got Bosque, and none of them are Marcus Semien. Wait, do we really need a fifth second baseman? But you know, it's worked out pretty well. And that reminds me to ask you about Bosque. 3-2 pitch to Langford popped up. Get out of here. We'll do that again. What do you think about Bosque? I think that the fandom is giving up on him, and they should not. This is a former first-round draft pick. He's shown that he's a 4A player, in my opinion. He can hit at 3. I mean, he's what is it, 270, I think, this year. I mean, it's not like he's raking down there, but he's having a real nice season, and I think he's a good bat. I really hope he gets some ABs and gets another shot because what was he, 0 for 42 or some dang thing before he got hurt? That's brutal.
Yeah, obviously with the Berger injury. He comes up and, that's what you need as a player like that. You need an opportunity. He gets another shot and hopefully he can make it stick. We've seen him take good at bats before. Like you said, first round pick, was a great player at Mississippi State.
Yep.
And so, yeah, he's going to, it's a tough spot for him. He's going to maybe not get a ton of opportunities and is going to have to play well with the ones that he does. But, who knows, maybe, as Langford strikes out right there, maybe he forces the Rangers' hand. That's what every kind of young player is coming up trying to do. Look at someone like Cole Winn, who has done that beautifully, is basically
perfect comp,
forced himself onto the roster and into leverage. But, if you can hit, you can stick. And so hopefully, I always say that. So, hopefully for him, he can find some good at-bats and, find a way to have some success up here.
Yeah, I expect that if he gets ABs, the fans will like him a lot more than they remember. And I'm rooting for him because he seems like a nice guy. I don't know him personally by any means, but he seems like a good dude. And I like him. I mean, I think when you get a first-round draft pick, unless they just flame out, you almost owe it to the organization to give them a couple hundred at-bats and see what you have. I like Davis. I mean, what do we have, like 6 guys on the team right now who are first-round draft picks? And I think last year we had like 7 or maybe it was 8 even. I don't want to be off, but Davis Wenzel's not with us. He was up last year. I know I'm forgetting somebody, and isn't there? I think there's 6 first-round draft picks on the roster today. I'm pretty sure I read that.
Yeah, I mean, even when he was drafted at the time, it was a very interesting pick. But the skill was there in college, and throughout the minors, he's had some success. And like you said, when you pick a guy first round, like, I know we talk about it a lot in terms of football because the draft is so long and certain guys are expected to start, right away. But when you pick certain guys in certain spots, you have expectations about them. And he was a pretty, he was a middle of the round, first round pick. Yeah. So you have expectations that player is a starter that impacts your team's, future. And so you hope that he can become that. And like you said, you want to give him opportunities to become that because he was picked there for a reason. Obviously, a lot of those guys don't work out, but you want to give him a shot.
Too many of them work out for somebody else when not given a shot. So I would almost be what's the word? Worried almost that if we flipped him, and I do think there's value in him. I think he would be one of those pieces that you could flip for something. Not talking about Simeon just missed one. Not talking about salary considerations, and we'll probably talk about that at some point. But I think he's somebody that other teams would want to take a shot at, is what I'm trying to say. We'll see. Simeon in the 3-hole today. That's an interesting spot. Obviously, Seager getting the day off. Who else? Smitty? Is Smitty out? I think Smitty was out. So a little bit of a change in the lineup. What do you think about Marcus's, raking in the past, about 3-4 weeks now?
Yeah, he's been really good. I mean, he's looking locked in. It was almost, to me, it was almost a matter of time. I mean, the dude is such a nature of habit. He's there. He's doing it every day. There's not a day. I know you guys know because you get there early, and there's not a day Marcus Simeon's not out there putting in work, and he's, sticking to the same routine, works good at bats, and to me, it was bound to happen eventually. And he's been locked in. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball for the last, now we're talking almost a month. So it's been a pretty large sample size, and he's been pretty locked in.
Yeah, he's been one of my favorites, not only for his production, but you just said it, for the way he works. I 1,000 years ago and 100 pounds ago or 120 pounds ago or whatever, when I got to play, a zillion years ago. Like I said, I wanted to be those kind of guys. For me, I'm way older than you, but it was the Pete Roses of the world, the guys that just got way more out of their skill set. And Marcus is that guy. I mean, he's got phenomenal skill set. Don't get me wrong, but he's a hard worker. It oozes out of him, and I love that. Logman in the house, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Ranger 205 in the house, what's going on? How do you get on the field for batting practice, and how much of it is a pass? So that's, well, and there's the answer. Okay, Haley said she won passes on X. I remember that, Haley. Congratulations. Also, you get season ticket holders down there. But Kane, why don't you speak to that? You probably know more about that than me, honestly. I know season ticket holders can get it, and there's contests. How does one get on the field for those in chat who are interested?
I hate to let everyone down, but I have no idea. That is not my type of question, unfortunately.
And that's okay. I'll take it then. I'll ask myself. Season ticket holders get invited, depending on what package you have. And then there's other times. Honestly, there's a lot of the other team that seems to be down there. So I think there's just, I don't know how that works either, but it's by invite only, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Kerman, what's going on, buddy? Hope you're having a great day. I get what Bochy's doing with the lineup against the lefty. Yeah, he was actually talking about yesterday. He gave Corey the decision yesterday or today. Now we can go down that rabbit hole, but probably won't. Everyday Mets announcement going on. Logman, what call you talking about, buddy? I don't know. Anyway, we got Kane on for all the game, maybe. We had 14 earlier. We're down to 9, I guess, in the chat here. 6 on the clubhouse, or 8 on the clubhouse, whatever, keeps moving. Dolph Dad 1 over on Twitch 1. I'm glad you guys are here. Give Kane some love. I don't think I even fixed the banner. Let me pull down the banner and fix that. I'll put your Twitter name up there. Patrick Corbin on the hill versus Jackson Holiday. Who do you want to talk about? I'll leave it up to you. You want to talk about this former first-round draft pick, or you want to talk about the crazy success that Patrick Corbin's having so far in 2025?
Man, yeah, Corbin, he's been balling out, to the expectations of not a lot of people. But guy that knows how to pitch, been there, done that. He really has benefited. What a job Mike Maddox has done with him and the whole Rangers pitching staff. Strikes out Holiday there, really good slider. But yeah, he's been really good. I think getting him into a contending environment again has been huge, because the last year that he was, good was 2019 when the Nationals, of course, won the World Series. And, ever since then, he kind of, in 2020, the Nationals severely underperformed in the COVID season. And he was one of those guys, and kind of just wasn't the same, but a guy that was brought in because you knew he was going to, be able to pitch innings, and a veteran who's been there and done that and eat innings. But he's been so much more than that. He's turning in quality starts, and, definitely has blown away expectations.
Yeah, I think he, Caleb Bosley yesterday kind of took it on the chin for 4 innings or 3 innings or what it was. I think Corbin kind of did it for 2 or 3 years. I mean, he just put up 30 starts, and just they rock him sometimes. Sometimes he was okay. In the end, his numbers were horrific, but they were horrific because he kept going to the post, right? Strike 3 there, 2 outs now. And I value that. I mean, a team can really value that. I thought he would be like our 6th starter. Obviously, we got him after the loss of Gray and Bradford. I think that's going to be the inning, F8. There we go. Quick first inning. Speaking of Corbin being awesome, that's a good inning. We'll go to the top of second, 0-0. I thought that he would be good. I don't think anyone's going to say they thought he'd be this good. I mean, he's been exceptional.
Yeah, I don't think any. I mean, if you did, you gotta get some lottery tickets, because I definitely did not think that he was going to perform this well. And yeah, he's done more than you could have asked at this point.
Who I wanted was Kyle Gibson, who's now been, I think, cut by 2 teams. I love Kyle Gibson. I think he's an excellent pitcher. I think he's a great dude. I was rooting for us to get him, and I was happy with Corbin. I was, but I was rooting for Gibson, and well, I guess CY might be smarter than me.
Yeah, that's a very smart guy. I will say that.
Sure is. Who is your favorite person with the Rangers that you've got to get to know or cover or whatever you want to say it, who's not a ball player?
Oh my gosh, that is a great question. There's so many. I mean, man, yeah, there's so many. I mean, it's really everyone that makes the environment so great. Bruce Bochy is literally the best. Like
I
he's the
love Bruce
best
Bochy.
manager that you could ask for. I mean, he has the best stories. Like getting to hear his stories every day. I feel like I learned so much just by being around him every day.
And tell the people, is he hilarious? I know the
he's
answer.
so funny. Yeah, he is.
He doesn't come off as a funny guy, right? Until you get lucky enough to get a chance to talk to him, right?
He's so funny. I mean,
Yes.
I remember earlier this year, he goes, it was when Higashioka went on the IL and there was another move, and he was like, all right, I'm going to test y'all and see who can type the fastest. And then he tells us the news and we're just all typing on our phone. There will be times like, during the off season when we'll meet with him and he'll come up and he'll be like, did you hear about our new signing? And I'm like, no. And he's like, that's because we didn't have one.
He's just playing with the writers. That's awesome.
He's the best. But there's so many people that go into so many people that you don't see. Like everyone that we deal with as the media, to the people that check us in, to the elevator operators, to the people that keep us safe. Like it's everyone. It's just a hands down. Like it's an amazing experience, and everyone is so great. The parking attendant, I know I'm forgetting people, and if they're listening, I'm so sorry, but
I hope they're listening. Hey, everybody.
I hope so too. But it's everyone that makes the experience so great, and it's those little interactions that just make your day, and it's great. I mean, everyone from top to bottom, the hands down organization, and it spills onto the players as well. We've seen,
of course it does.
CY likes to sign the character guys. Oh, there we go, Garcia, nice shot right there.
Yeah, base hit, almost a double right there.
Yeah,
off the bat, I thought it was going to be a double, but it stayed up a little bit. But whatever, we'll take that from Dolly. Lead off.
But it's truly like it's from top to bottom of the organization, and it's an amazing organization to just cover and be a part of.
Yeah, I'm just a fan, and I feel blessed. I mean, I grew up a Dodger fan my whole life. I lived out in Southern California. The Back It Up Binge podcast in the house is going on. Really glad to see you guys here. And I love the Dodgers, and I thought for many, many years they were one of the classiest organizations. I've had a lot of issues with some of their decisions. I'm not going to go politics on the show here, but I've been very unhappy with them since, frankly, McCourt owned them. It's been like a decade now. I don't know why. You're young. Do you even know who I talk about when I say McCourt? That was, I guess it was like 10.
No.
Yeah. So it's the ownership group before this pop up F3 1 out. So when I moved out here to Texas, I was still a Dodgers fan, and I still am a Dodgers fan. But like if I look at my wall, I've got Dodgers collectibles up on the wall. But I'm a former Dodgers, current Rangers fan. People have trouble with that sometimes. I don't care. It's just the way I am. And I'm proud of the fact that I think the Rangers are a classy organization. Nobody is perfect, and they're going to do things I don't like, and I probably would do things that they wouldn't like. But I love the Rangers ownership group and executive group. And, I'm from San Diego, so I knew CY a little bit. I knew Bochy a little bit, and we're in really good hands. I wonder, I hope the fans understand that, because not everybody's in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and I mean, you speak about ownership, and I know, the average fan may not hear from Ray Davis a lot, but he's amazing too, and Neil Lieberman, everyone is, the ownership down is just the nicest guys, and yeah, I mean, it says a lot for sure. I mean, about just the way the organization runs, but it's class top to bottom.
Now, I'm going to ask you the hardest question of all time that I probably shouldn't ask you, but how come Mr. Davis doesn't do interviews? When is Kane going to interview the owner, Mr.
That is
if you're the one, man, I'd be so stoked for you.
I would love that. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't know, but he does talk, and he's actually very talkative. A lot of people wouldn't.
He is, unless you're a reporter. But I guess you would know. I mean, does he talk to you? I guess maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I've heard he's almost reclusive as it relates to the media, but super friendly with. I mean, I've seen it. Haley's in the chat. I pointed him out one time, and she ran over there, and he gave her autograph, and she said it was a great interaction. I'll bring her on maybe I don't know, Wednesday or something, if she's got a chance, and we'll tell that story. But I've heard he's a great guy. Is what I'm trying to say. Why doesn't he talk to the media? I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, he's a great small talker. He's you can tell he's a very nice guy for sure.
And he might be richer than everyone on the planet.
That's
energy transfer, right?
Yes, that is also a fair point.
Where are we at? Higgy. I should make sure I can't even see the. What did I do wrong here? We almost got Dolly picked off there while we were talking. 1-2 count. There we go. I couldn't see my own screen here. Dolly on first. Top of 2-0-0. I think I said, yeah, I did. I said hello to the Back It Up Binge podcast. Good luck to your Rangers with Rogers on the mound. My Orioles already lost. No, come on. He what is this? His third time out? I think he had a couple innings that looked good and then maybe a 6-inning start. I might not have that right, but Kane, any thoughts on the lefty for the Orioles? I don't want to put you on the spot. He's not just not like my big name out there.
Tough acquisition there, man. Just looking at the Orioles from I do keep up with baseball, of course. I've always loved it, and so I always keep up with it. But man, so disappointing that they weren't more aggressive trade deadline last year and off season this year. I know they tried to keep Burns and obviously a figure they weren't going to go to. But yeah, I mean, very, very, very disappointing. I was thinking, with the new ownership that maybe that would be a little different, but they feel like a team of missed opportunities for sure.
I feel like, and I'm going to make some assumptions here, strike three there, 2 outs now. When the ownership was transitioning, I think I'm not making any excuse for the Orioles. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't root for them in any way, but I think it was just tough timing as they transitioned from the former ownership to kind of the end of acquisition season. What are they going to do? They're just coming on board. They've got the budget. Obviously, they've been involved for a while, but I think it's easy for me to say this because I'm not a Royal fan, but I think they should give this group a break and see what they do. Now, if they sit on their hands all next year and they let this window go, well, then that's on them. Josh Young steps up to hit. And I do think there's a window here still, but Adley's on the IL now. Burnsy, like you said, I mean, I don't even know if it was a money thing, Ken. I think he lived there. His wife loves it there. He loves it there. Yeah, he's going to go to Arizona. I mean, so I don't know what you can do if you're Baltimore there. Yeah. All-Star game coming up. Who the heck's the Rangers going to send?
Well, you're going to look pretty much straight to the pitching. DeGrom, Evaldi, and Malley, if their time on the shelf doesn't hurt them too much. But right now, I think you're looking at DeGrom for sure. And outside of that, it's definitely not looking like 2023. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point. What do we have, like 5 starters that year or 4? Yeah. Now we don't have 2 in the top 10, and they're both at 10. What happened in 2023 voting wise? I don't know how that worked out. And then 2024, we're at home and we didn't have the representation so much. So what happened? We used to vote for our boys, and is everybody just that mad?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Definitely interesting when you stack it up, but I think for the most part, fans do a good job of voting who deserves to be there. I would say is probably fair, and then obviously the fans don't have a say over the starters or the starting pitchers or the reserves. So I think for the most part, he's done a good job.
I've always believed it's a fans' game, and frankly, who cares? Like if the more popular guy gets in there and he's having a good year, that's good for baseball, not bad. I've never had an issue with that. Frankly, last year's rosters on both the AL and the NL were lacking some firepower, I thought. And I think sometimes you go with a bigger name. A lot of people want to reward a first half, for an all-star. Let's be real. 2023, Tavares and Zeke were both kind of on the cusp, in my opinion. And boy, not since have either one of them been very good. But for me, to answer my own question there, I think Smitty maybe, probably not. And I think DeGrom. And I think that's probably because you take a Ranger pitcher for sure. It's not going to be Nate. It's not going to be Malley because they're hurt. So we'll see. And I think that's a great story for DeGrom. I mean, what a year he's having, and one of the best ever.
Yeah, definitely well-deserved for DeGrom. I think he'll be there. Smith is so tough because he doesn't have a defined position. Obviously, that's different when it comes to the reserve voting that's done by, not the fans. But when it comes to fan vote, that's obviously so tough for him because he's just kind of listed somewhere and, not really a defined role.
And I don't know if he's appreciated nationally maybe as much as he's appreciated here. I mean, you might have a different opinion on that, but I don't get the feeling that he's a name that people go, he's an all-star. Hey, Cameron, what's going on, buddy? I mean, what do you think about it? Is he getting respect nationally?
No, I think he's a name that casual fans might not know too well for sure. And someone that baseball fan, the people that are in the weeds of it are starting to get to know, especially with the Silver Slugger last year. But
Yep.
yeah, I would say the casual fan probably is not too familiar with Josh Smith.
Yeah. 15 people here, mostly on Texas Rangers Clubhouse. A couple people over on Dole of Dad, one over on Texas Rangers Clubhouse on Twitch. I appreciate all of you. Cameron says, what's up? What's up with you, buddy? I believe Josh is listed for third. Yeah, I feel like that might be right, Haley. I haven't looked in a while, to be honest. I haven't voted. I actually missed the days, and you're too young for this one, too, as Sanchez, the four hitter, is going to be F8, first out, bottom of two. I'll show you. I missed the days where we voted. I'm a nerd for this stuff. And I bought this on eBay. I showed this on the show before, but did you ever vote like this, Kane? No, I know is the answer. You've only voted online, right?
I have only voted online, but I do remember, like, I think this was 2012 when the All-Star game was in Kansas City, actually having a paper ballot that I got, at one of the games. But I did still vote online that year when I was 8 years old or whatever. But yeah, no, only have ever voted online. But
go ahead.
I, from a very young age, wanted to vote for every sports all-star game, and I was on that thing. And I remember when I was little, like, voting, and then I didn't understand how, TV worked at that point, watching MLB Network to see if the rerun would update my vote.
I love it.
Was locked in. I actually have a funny story about it. NBA
Tell
All-Star
me.
When I was little, I wanted to vote for the NBA All-Star game. When I love basketball, and I'm sure we're going to get into that, but specifically, I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, but when I was, 8 or 9, I loved the Heat teams with LeBron, D Wade.
Oh, don't get pissed, people.
Don't
get mad at him.
I remember wanting to vote for the NBA All-Star game when I was little, and my dad was like, well, who do you want to vote for? And I was like, LeBron. And he was like, you don't even have to vote for him. He's going to be in there. You're not voting for LeBron.
I like your dad already. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big LeBron fan. I mean, I can respect the unbelievable talent, but he's not my favorite. Well, you mentioned it. What'd you think about the game last night, Game 7?
Oh my gosh, I gutted for Tyrese Halliburton. I even before the game was thinking about, like, because when a guy has a calf injury, and we saw 2019 when Kevin Durant had the calf injury and then tore his Achilles in the finals, and this playoffs we've seen Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard tear their Achilles. Like, when as soon as he went down, it's like, just gutted, like, terrible. And for it to end, I will say it is a what if, but the Thunder were the best team all year, and they deservedly, got it done. So good for them.
Yeah. I'm not an NBA guy anywhere close to you. Anywhere near the top of 3 here, still 0-0. But I will take note of the Achilles thing. I mean, what do we have? 3 superstars. In the last couple of weeks?
Yeah,
gonna go need surgery. I mean, is the season too long? Like, what is it? Just bad luck? I mean, what's the what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably somewhere in between. The playoffs are really long. I'll say that. It's honestly, this is. This year I've kind of noticed that, thinking about, wow, like, the playoffs are so long. And even, the other day my girlfriend was like, so they only get 3 months off. And as a sports fan, we don't really think about that until, kind of a casual fan says that. And you're like, yeah, I mean, I guess, now that you say that's kind of true. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, you obviously hate to see that, but especially for Halliburton, so likable, man. I've loved watching him play. I love his game. Yeah, I was crushed. It definitely, it almost affects your mood the rest of the night watching that. It's like, man, like that hurt a lot. I was pulling for Indy big time, but it didn't happen, unfortunately.
Indiana is so basketball obsessed.
Yeah.
So I was kind of happy for them and then a little sad for them. But that's just me being a fan of fans, frankly. I had no dog in the fight. I was a big Lakers fan back in the day before you were even born. The Lakers of Magic and Showtime and Kareem. Yes, I'm that old. And they lost me a few years ago. But we don't have to go in the order that I put it on the show, the run of show. But you're pretty big into the NBA or WNBA, excuse me. You cover the Wings. Tell me about that. How'd you get that gig? Why do you have that gig? Tell me whatever. And tell them whatever.
So I love basketball. So I started watching the WNBA around the time the Wings came. here in 2016. Thought it was cool that we got a team. And
has it really been that long? 20. So you just said
yeah,
2016. That blew me away. I mean,
yeah,
I know you're right, but it didn't feel like.
this is the 10th year. Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. But I've always loved basketball, and me being where I am, covering the Mavs, that's a little far for me downtown. It's about an hour, which is not bad, but then you factor in the
Where'd
lake.
you say Burleson? Yeah, didn't you say Burleson? So yeah, that's a drive. Yeah.
So a little bit of a drive. So the Wings
Yeah.
obviously playing in Arlington, and when I had got to my old company that I used to work for, Dallas Sports Nation, they had like the Wings on like their little scoreboard on their site, but no one covered the Wings, and I covered the
Oh,
Rangers, and I said, hey, like why don't we start this up for the site, man? Like let's go out there and let's cover it. I love basketball. I love doing it. And so so I started, and yeah, I've been doing it ever since, and I love it's so, I always tell people this, the WNBA, obviously in the NBA, guys have athleticism to kind of bail them out at times. The WNBA, they're not going around dunking. They don't have, they of course they have crazy athleticism, but not, oh, there we go. Foskey with the drive.
almost.
Oh, so close. But WNBA, they don't have, the crazy, dunking and athleticism that can bail them out of situations. So it's a much more like technical game, a much more fundamental focused game. And I've always found the fundamentals of basketball to be so satisfying. And I love the ins and outs and the weeds of it. So I've loved doing it. I'll be there tomorrow, actually. So it's super fun. And this year, obviously, with Paige Beckers has been so fun to watch. Last year, getting to watch Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese come in. It's like the talent is rising, and there's players that are fun to watch. So I love doing it. It's a blast.
I cannot believe how fast this game is going. We are through 2.5. We're going to the bottom of third, 0-0. One hit for us, no hits for them. I barely get a question in, and the inning's over. I'm glad you said you're going to stay, because my gosh, I was only going to keep you for 2 innings. That would have been nuts. So you talked about the Dallas Sports Nation. I'm interested in this. I hope the crew is. Let me not ignore the chat here. And their young Haley says, I don't get these injuries. Could be length of the season. Yeah, I think it might be. I don't know. Good idea to sit in for a game or two. Yep. Got to get White back on track. Amen to that. Again, everybody, this is Kane, my buddy. He works, well, I don't even know who you work for. We'll talk about that in a minute. But he's a writer for a beat writer, or beat reporter, I guess the way to say it, for both the Rangers and the Wings. We're talking a little WNBA right now. He's a bigger fan of it than me. I love some girls' sports. I have 4 daughters. Now I've got a couple granddaughters too. I love, I don't want to get totally boring here and lose everybody. Everybody's going to leave when I talk girls tennis here, but I love tennis. I'm too old and fat now, but I used to play a lot of tennis. And while I loved watching, Agassi and Sampras and McEnroe and Federer and Nadal and all the studs, right? I loved watching all of them. I really, frankly, liked watching the ladies more, because not that I could do what Serena could do or what any of them could, I couldn't, but it was more realistic to a guy who wanted to play the game. I'm not going to be Roger Federer. What he's doing is video game stuff. And I found, and I still do, I enjoy watching women's tennis quite a bit. Well, not more than, it's just a different thing, but as much as I do men's tennis, and I love tennis. I can't say the same for basketball, Kane. The women's game, A, I don't find it very athletic, and B, man, I wish they would stop screaming at me about their politics. As you cover the sport, how do you, and I'm not asking you politics, I don't care. I'm very open about mine, but I try not to ask other people why I'm on. But how do you, as a reporter, share the story, which I think is a very political one in the WNBA, and Angel Reese and the refs' lack of, I guess I want to say fairness. I hate that word as it relates to somebody like Caitlin Clark, and just provide the information about the game. Like, is that a challenge for you, or is that just something that I'm seeing because I'm maybe a little more sensitive about that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that you have to be cautious of and keep in the back of your mind. But at the end of the day, I keep it all about basketball. I tell people, if you want the political side of the WNBA, there's plenty of people to get that from.
There sure is.
I am not that person. I choose to keep it about basketball because that's what I love about it. The ins and outs of the basketball. I'm not here for the politics. I keep all that personal. I do very much, pride myself on being informed and staying informed on what's going on around me, but I don't share that when it comes to my work. I kind of try to separate.
It's probably smart.
Things.
Probably smart.
So yeah, I think you do keep it in the back of your mind, and as more of a, hey, let's make sure this stays about basketball and, the extra stuff, it is what it is and it's going to happen. But if you're going to read my stuff, it's going to be about basketball and I'm going to tell you how it is.
And I'm going to not keep it about basketball. I'm going to move it to baseball from a basketball player. What do you think about Paige's fastball the other night?
Man, that's pretty good. There's not a lot
Yeah.
to do. She definitely impressed me. She did play baseball though. I did know that. Actually, baseball.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
When she was younger, and so yeah,
Okay.
I mean, although she did say the sport that she would want to go pro in is tennis, which I honestly would not doubt her at this point. She is very athletic, but
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
also love tennis too. I got to throw that in there. I started watching tennis about 5 years ago because of, in large part, I will say, Naomi Osaka, really good.
Oh, wow. Really? Wow.
Player, yeah, and so I've loved watching Madison Keys win the Australian Open and
Yes. Look at you.
I love tennis. I started watching.
I do too.
And I love it.
I am working on the belly needs to go away. I'm working on it. And hopefully, one of the reasons, though, frankly, and very, very bluntly and honestly, I miss tennis. I haven't played since I moved out to Texas. I haven't played anything, really. And one of my goals is to, in the next 12 to 18 months, get out on the court. So, hey, not today, but maybe in a little bit. I'll. Back in the day, I had a pretty good serve. Right now, I think I might pull a muscle. We'll see in a year or so. Do you play or do you watch? I guess I should ask that.
I play a little bit for fun here and there. Me and my sister, my little cousin will play sometimes, just here and there for fun. Haven't played that much. Played pickleball a couple times.
Yeah, I've got some pickleball right there. I got two paddles and some balls. I've never played the game, but I'm looking forward to playing that one too. That looks fun.
Yeah, mostly just watching it though. I really want to start. I really only watch the majors. I really want to start getting into some of the other tournaments too, and I want to go to the Dallas Open next year. That's on my sports bucket list to check off in the off season.
That might be something I want to do. So I'm a little concerned. I don't know if I'm ahead of you or what. Little line drive into left field. It looked like Haggerty jammed his left wrist and or hand. Yeah, he's playing with it right now. He looks like he might stay in, but he's definitely jammed it. Let's watch the replay here.
Yeah, those are always tough. Those and you dive, and yeah.
He hyperextended that back. He's hurt, guys.
Yeah, that does not look good.
That does not look good, is right. Oh my gosh, look how far he slid. Oh, he looks right. Oh, we're in trouble here. Hey, Rob, what's going on? Rob Carsum in the house says, show the game. That would be illegal, copyright infringement, and I don't want to lose my channel. So no. But this is a watch party. You can watch it on Victory Plus. I don't think it's on MLB Network tonight. I think was it on MLB Network tonight, or is that last night?
I do not know, but I know in market you cannot watch it on MLB Network. So
that's true. You're on Twitch right now, buddy? Cool. Well, I'm glad. Or are you watching the game on Twitch? Cool. Well, I won't be showing the game here. Base hit in right field scores a run. Haggerty stays in the game. So I'm going to take that as good news. Bad news, base hit 1-0 bad guys. So listen, Kane, you're a writer for the Rangers. You're probably going to know better than I. Have we won a game ever where we didn't score the first run in 2025? Because I like to be Mr. Positive, and as soon as the other team takes a lead, my positivity goes pretty much out the window. We're in trouble.
Yeah, that I see that. I'll say this: whenever an early home run or run happens, I'll have a bunch of people in my mentions be like, "Well, if the game's over," and I will admit I do laugh, and that's all I'll say about that.
Well, I mean, I used to. I'm starting to look at when we got down by 2 the other day. I'm like, we're in trouble. Get down by 3. Is this game over? I mean, the offense. I mean, the stats, everybody who follows the game, most people in chat, and certainly you are going to know, the stat right now is if they score 4, they've got the best record in all of baseball. When they don't score 4, well, that's 6 days a week. I mean, what is going on with this offense?
Yeah, it feels like that's in my game notes. Every day I look down there and I see that stat. I mean, it's just up and down. And, I think that it's fair to say, but Bruce Bochy said the other day, it's fair to say that guys are still trying to find their way. And he also said it's fair to say that, at this point, a lot of guys in this lineup are trying to find their way. And it's a prolonged thing. And it's tough. It's certainly tough, but, you keep going at it every day. And they've shown the ability to, we've seen it at times this year. And so, you hope that, this little stretch right here, which is huge in terms of the big picture, they can certainly find some offense.
Amen to that. Rob, just to be a friendly guy to you, yeah, so you're talking about Twitch. It might be a little different, but it's copyright infringement on YouTube. If I did that, if I showed the game, yeah, I would get a whole bunch more views, and then I would get a strike, and then I would say, hey, I didn't do that, and they would say, yes, you did, and they would take my channel. So, yeah, if you want to get short-term views, you can do that, but you will lose your channel. I don't know Twitch very well, but a lot of young people come in and tell me that kind of stuff, and trust me, you don't want to do that if you want to keep your channel. One run in. That's the end of the third inning. Again, I'll take good news from that. We didn't lose the game. We lost the lead. Well, whatever. We're down by one, but Haggerty, I guess, isn't as hurt as I thought he was. I'm going to say that we got pretty lucky right there.
Yeah, definitely a good break right there. That did not look good.
Yeah. Well, then, Rob, go ahead and do that, buddy. I'm trying to help you, but you do your thing. All the ballparks I've been to, I'd rank Baltimore as number one, says Cameron. Yeah, Cameron's an East Coaster. Going to be at the Ranger game in New York in a week or two, Cameron? I don't remember now. A couple of weeks, 3 weeks. It is hot out there. I know you cover the games when they're in town. You ever get to go on the road at all for
I haven't been on the road yet covering a game. I would love to, and I'm sure I will. Will eventually. Have not got the chance to yet.
And I do want to segue. I was trying to get this in earlier when you mentioned starting with the Dallas Sports Nation. I talked to you about this a little bit when on the interview that I didn't even post. How'd you get your start? I mean, you're a young man. People are interested in this kind of stuff. I get asked all the time about stuff that I don't know the answer to that I think you might be able to provide some answers to. If you were talking to someone your age or even younger and they wanted to do what you're doing, what would you tell them to do? And how did it happen for you?
Yeah. So, man, I always love talking about this. I love trying to be as helpful as.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you? I think we've lost Kane for a minute on his feed. There we go. Are you back?
Yeah.
I heard that. I heard, are we good?
Perfect.
There we go. Let's do that again. You like to help, and then so we'll start from there.
Yeah, so I love helping people. So, of course, always. So how I started was just being little, and I love baseball. I feel like to an extent that not a lot of kids were like. A lot of people grew up on Disney Channel, and I grew up on MLB Network, like watching every night. So started there. So I kind of had some knowledge accumulated when I was little, and then when I got a little older, kind of in around middle school, I started to really get into the.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him again? Kane, we lost you. I'm assuming you can hear me, but I don't even know. You started getting into. There you are. Are you hardwired in or are you on Wi-Fi?
I'm on Wi-Fi.
Can you hardwire in? Because I think that's what's happening.
I don't know that I can.
Well, we'll just tell you to repeat yourself then. Because I hear you good now.
Yeah, so I love basketball, and we had a basketball podcast, and I wrote for some freelance sites here and there. And when I was 16, looking for a job, as 16-year-olds do, I saw an opening at Dallas Sports Nation, and I saw it at school, and I was like, I'm going to go home and apply for this. And I went on, and I applied, and I was like, opened the application, and I was like, oh man, I don't know about this. Like, I'm too young. Like, I'm going to close the application. I don't know. And I felt, the Lord tell me, hey, like, go open it, go fill it out. And I was like, man, whatever. Like, I'll do it, I guess. So I go and fill it out. And a few days later, they're like, welcome to the team. And of course, after I gone through the sample and all that, and I'm like, cool. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I guess I got to figure this out now. So it's a still going process of figuring things out every day. And I have since moved to covering the team for the Fans First Sports Network, which was a lot of people don't know. I actually work there now. What a lot of people do know, they've heard of, is SB Nation. And basically when SB Nation disbanded, the company that I work for now, Fans First Sports Network, that's how that started. So if you want to,
did they buy SB Nation or is it a different?
I'm not sure. I think they kind of just started their own thing. Not sure the ins and outs of it, but it's a lot of the podcasters were with SB Nation. They've just started tapping into writing, so I'm there now. and getting to do this every day. It's awesome. And it's a process of growing and learning. And, every day I'm still learning in my 4th year, and it's great. I get to, really be
I love it.
To think about, hey, what can I do better? There's still improvements every day. What I would say to other people is like, always keep your eyes peeled for opportunities, because you never know who's hiring, who's, doing what. So that's kind of how I started, and that's what I would say. But B, almost most importantly, is like, start now. Like, start your own website and upload them now. Start writing, upload, I know there's tons of places where you can make websites, and, start now, write your stories. You have
Oh, shoot. We lost you again. Hang in there, guys. I think he'll be back. He's just on Wi-Fi, and it's a little wonky, it looks like, at his place right now. Hopefully he'll be back here shortly. Right now he's frozen. I don't know if you can hear me, buddy, but you're frozen on our end. Cameron in the chat says Orioles pitching has been dog water the entire year. Well, it's only the 3rd inning, big guy. Dolly up, 2 outs. Top of 4, 1-0 bad guys. Kane McCutcheon, our guest, he's frozen right now. His Wi-Fi is being a little wonky, I believe. That's my assumption anyway. He'll come back as soon as he can come back. Yeah. 0-2 pitch coming to Dolly. 1-0. Corbin on the hill for us, looking good. Rogers on the hill for them, looking even better. First of 3 games in Baltimore. Over 100 degrees at game time, I believe, is what they said. Yep, we've lost Kane. Hopefully Kane will be back shortly. I think his internet's a little wonky. That's all right. Make sure you give him a follow over on X. 13 people here live. Let's see. 3 people on Dole Whip Dad. 1 on Twitch at Texas Ranger Clubhouse. Everybody else here at Texas Ranger Clubhouse. Happy to have you wherever you're at. Best experience in chat, definitely over at the Texas Rangers Clubhouse channel. Hope you come over here, subscribe, inside everybody in chat. Dolly takes strike 3 for the backwards K. I am going to check my messages in case Kane's trying to get a hold of me. The game's on a break. I'm going to get a hold of Kane. I'm going to play this for you quickly. We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, you may or may not be aware, but I have a contest, a scavenger hunt, a couple of baseball cards hidden out there in the DFW landscape somewhere. And I put some clues out for the first week or so. It was for just members, but nobody has found it yet. I just checked. Me and my daughter went. It's still there, at least as I filmed this, right? Clue number 1 for all. It was for members only. Now it's for everyone. Depending on what time you get there, traffic could be really bad, but the food is worth it. Clue number 2. Go find it. Look at I should do a new clue. What would be a new clue to show you, to tell you best tacos in town? Right across the street from the best burger in all of America, says this Californian. We've got Kane back. Can you hear me, buddy?
I'm so sorry. I believe our
No
internet just accidentally unplugged. I'm so sorry about that.
No worries at all. Life happens on live, so that's okay. Carolyn Life, how you been, my friend? Carolyn, I haven't seen you in so long. Great to see your name in chat, my friend. How are you doing? This is Kane McCutcheon, guys. He is a beat writer for both of the Dallas Wings of the WNBA and the Texas Rangers of MLB. Back to the game. Let's reset. Bottom of 4, 1-0 bad guys. Corbin's looking good. Unfortunately, the Baltimore Orioles Rogers doing a little better. 1-0 is not insurmountable. The stud Gunnar Henderson, one of my favorite non-Rangers. Great guy, great ball player, superstar. Not having the year that he probably wanted, but he's certainly warming up, and they're going to need him now with Adley down. We've talked about the Orioles a little bit, but I guess we'll just segue because we had a hard break there. What are your thoughts on the Orioles? I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but Are they out of it? Should they be selling? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's tough. I don't think they're. I don't think they should be selling. I mean, obviously, there's certain. Probably, I haven't deep dove into it, but I'm sure there are certain contracts that they can probably move on from. Good news is they have the young core intact.
They sure do.
They need to do something with their pitching, similar to what the Rangers did in 23 before they won the World Series. But yeah, I think it's really just the pitching. I think. I don't think they obviously just went through a rebuild. I don't think they should tear it down or anything like that. I think it's just a retool, if I had to say, from an outsider's perspective. And
I deeply agree with that, and I think it's a good segue to us. But I would rather be in our spot with the unbelievable depth of pitching. I mean, when we get Bradford back in a couple of weeks, I think, when we get Gray back, which I can't believe we're going to get Gray back in July. Maybe he broke his pitching wrist. Like that's it. I thought he'd be out for quite a bit longer, but for everything I read, maybe you know more than me. But I hear July for him, and then you've got Corbin, and you've got Kumar maybe, and you've got Leiter, and you've got Malley when he's healthy again here, and Eovaldi and DeGrom. That's an embarrassment of riches, but I don't want to say that out loud because the Dodgers thought they had the embarrassment of riches, and now they've got 4 or 5 dudes starting this week that I've never heard of. I don't know. What are your thoughts on some of those guys? I specifically Bradford and Gray and Kumar. I mean, when I see Kumar, I see a long-term starter maybe, but a current 2025 back end of the bullpen guy. But apparently the Rangers are definitely against that. F9 second out. Sanchez flies out to Dolly. And talk to me about Gray and Kumar, starter, reliever, and what do we do? Well, when does Bradford come back? All that stuff. I'll shut up and listen to you.
Well, if you would have asked me this question 2-3 weeks ago, I would have told you that Gray and Bradford are going to come back and be amazing pieces in the bullpen. But now, as you look at it, where TBD is starting every night and
right
bullpen game, they would factor into the rotation. Yeah, I think the injuries and the progress to Malley and Eovaldi are going to determine a lot about what their role is going to be. About Gray and Bradford specifically, whether that's bullpen or starter. Both guys are comfortable pitching out of the bullpen. Both guys are open to it, and the Rangers are open to both guys pitching down there. So I think it kind of just depends on the state of pitching overall when they're getting ready to come back. But both of them are progressing well and should be back sooner rather than later. As far as Rocker, I don't think he's in that situation. Look, as far as I'm concerned, this is a starter, and we've seen his last couple have been pretty good, and so I think that the Rangers, they are progressing him out as a starter, and they want him to continue there, just like him and Leiter. I think there's been a lot of times where there's been a lot of external pressure for the Rangers to jump off the Leiter and Rocker starter bandwagons, and they haven't. They've stuck to it, and they want them to be key rotation pieces for a while, because you look at this rotation and it's not exactly young. And so someone's going to have to come in and fill those spots, and they hope that it's Rocker and Leiter, and Corbin is pitching really well tonight so far. Wow.
Here's my thing with Rocker. What's the max innings CY and the powers that be would let him go this year? 120? Yeah, that's going to include the minor league innings. So what are we at? Probably 50 now? I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think that even if he progresses as a starter, he's done in August.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. They're going to have to monitor the innings, and we'll kind of see how they choose to use him. I wouldn't suspect that he's in the bullpen this year, but you never know. We'll see. But yeah, the innings is certainly something to watch, because he hasn't thrown innings, period. I mean, he really hasn't.
Less than 120 since Vandy, I think.
Right. So you've got to certainly monitor that, and they have to with all these guys. Really, Bruce Bochy said he's got to watch out for DeGrom and Malley, who just came back off Tommy John. He'll have to watch out for Bradford and Gray when they come back, and Eovaldi, who is a frequent injury history. It's crazy to think what they've done with the injury history that they have, and how much they're going to have to be monitored. It's interesting to think about for sure, but almost adds a component to their performance this year.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I know that I know baseball enough to know that Bochy knows way better than me how to handle all this stuff. Not only because he's on the inside and he knows all the stuff, but this is kind of why he's going to the freaking Hall of Fame when 5 years out when he wants to. I mean, I think that as fans, and I'll speak for myself, I have opinions, and my opinion is Rucker should be in the pen so we get value out of him deeper into this season, because I don't want him to go 120 innings and get hurt again. I mean, we talk about the fans were mad at Leiter because they didn't think he was ready. This should be his rookie year. It is, by the way, his rookie year. But last year we had some starts and he got blown up. Well, guess what? Almost like a writer is writing a story. That's exactly what we just had with Kumar. He was 8 point something a couple starts ago. He's looked real good the last two. But when people were talking about Kumar being the rookie of the year, I'm like, guys, the most innings he's going to get is 120. I suspect he's going to get more like 80. He could throw 5 perfect games and they're going to shut him down. He's not going to go that far. So that's why I think he should be in the pen. I do want to ask you about Malley, though. I am just somebody who scours for information. You're actually down there. Tyler Malley news is hard to find. Is he what's the what? Do you know anything?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a little tough to come by. Honestly, I haven't heard a whole lot.
Should that concern me, or is it just because there's other stuff going on and he's just doing his thing? And like, I don't know what you guys do, but does nobody ask about how he's doing?
I mean, definitely it is asked about. I think it's kind of interesting. You kind of like not take it with a grain of salt, but injuries progress more than I would say we get the information to know. A lot of times, we understand what's going on with injuries, but we're meeting with Bochy before the games. And then after he meets with us, he's going to meet with to talk about injuries. So it's kind of like, we don't always, we don't always, know the full, but yeah, I don't know that it's to be concerned about. I think, maybe more so like, I don't want to say like, oh, a guy's expected to get injured, but like if you look at this rotation, it's like
pitchers should be.
Yeah, especially with pitchers, and then specifically this rotation, it's like,
yeah,
you got to come to figure that like some of these guys are going to get nicked up, every once in a while, and we'll see, when the next update comes with Malley, and it's really about the live BPs and the rehab starts. So until a guy is really able to get cleared to do one of those, it's kind of tough to see like where he's at per se.
And you mentioned the live BP. Did Nate throw one today? I believe he's on track for Friday. Do you know? I know it's in Baltimore. And
know that he threw one over the weekend. I'm not sure about today, but I know that he's progressing. He's been playing catch like pretty much every day.
I think Jeff Wilson, if I remember correctly, right before the game, Jeff Wilson said he threw today, which would put him on track for Friday. I might have that wrong, but I think there's the inning. This game is flying by. We are through 4.5, going to the bottom of the 5th. Baltimore 1, Rangers 0. Yeah, I know you've heard that before, right? One more injury question. Sporzy. I read from his mouth that he doesn't have confidence in letting it go yet. Anything there?
Man, Josh Sborz has been. It feels like every day Josh Sborz is out doing something, getting ready and trying to get good to go. He is one of the ones that's very hard on himself.
Is he?
He wants to be. It's so much different with the relievers too. Like a guy's rehabbing, and I'm like, I will say this to your point and all its injury questions. It feels like I've seen more live BPs in the last month. Like, oh my gosh, it's like every day they're doing a live VP. But sports it's interesting with their reliever, obviously, because they're never going to be built up to go far. So that anytime you get the shoulder injury or the arm injury, it's tough to, build him back up, and interesting to see. It's so much different than a starter. But, he's progressing, he's doing stuff very frequently, and hopefully he can, factor back in soon. But yeah, I mean, the pitching injury, it just feels like every day there's a live BP, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how many of these are we going to do?
Well, when you got a rotation of 13 or 14 on the roster at once, I guess, probably 13, right? Mostly 13. And then you've got probably 6 that are going to play AAA and in the majors. And then you add in the IL. I mean, it's a lot of human being arms. It adds up, And I do want to mention that. You mentioned him earlier, but we kind of got off it pretty quickly. what a pleasant surprise Cole Wynn's been. I'm not one to give up on talented ball players very quickly. And so I didn't give up on Wynn, but what a vast change. Like, he didn't look good at all. And this year, I'm not going to say he should be in the All-Star game, but no one has better stats than him in the entire league. He hasn't given a run yet. That's insanity. Tell me about your thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, another first-round pick, right? I mean, 2022, we thought he was going to come up and be the starter and save the rotation, and he's really down in the bullpen. He's yet, you say yet to give up an earned run. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, that's cool. He's been up here. No, he hasn't given up an earned run at any level this year.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy to see what he's doing. He was forced into leverage a couple times last homestand and just looked confident and was locked in.
In charge.
I'll say this. It's so good to start getting some ROI on Cole Winn. Finally getting some return on him. Even if it's from the bullpen, you'll take it. And, man, he's been really, really good. And a lot of these I know Bosley had a rough start or rough outing yesterday, but before that he had been good. Jacob Latz has been good. So, Cole Winn. These non-leverage guys are really, really throwing the ball well. And that's huge. Those are the mini wins that Bruce Bochy always talks about that throughout the season really, really help your ball club.
You mentioned Latz. Latz has been better than good. Latz has been – he hadn't been Cole Winn, but you're not that far off. I mean, especially lately, a little drop. Yeah, drops in front of Doley there for a base hit. What was that? Mayo, I think. Mayo with the one-out base hit. Bomb of 5, 1-0 bad guys. Cedric Mullins, former Team USA guy, 8-hitter for them coming up. Corbin still looking good. That hit was certainly not hit hard by any means, but it fell where it did. And I just mentioned Mullins being Team USA. I love the WBC. I don't want to change where our trajectory too hard right here, but are you a WBC fan? Because I'm nuts for it.
I am. I'm a huge WBC fan. I love the national team in any sport.
Me too. Yeah.
And so, huge WBC guy. So excited. And I know we've been talking a lot at work with various people about, trying to mix together a roster and
right.
So excited. I hope, I did not get to cover it in person last time. I did some coverage for it, though, writing. I will not be doing that this time. So I'm excited to just really enjoy this one and see what happens. But, I'm very excited to watch it. Might make the trip down to go as a fan to Houston and watch it. So I think I'm
going to do that again. Old man story. I was at the first WBC. I got to see Clemens. I got to see Griffey. I actually got to talk to Griffey about a home run he hit against South Africa that probably landed in South Africa. And it was a wonderful conversation, and maybe it's a story for another time. But that was one of my favorite baseball weeks. We went out to the Phoenix area, and we got to see the first round, and it was just in those spring training ballparks, and boy, it couldn't hold them. But watching the Derek Jeter and Al Leiter, daddy of one of our ball players, Clemens, just all the names. This just unbelievable. I mean, heck, Lee Smith was the pitching coach for South Africa. I mean, it was just there was Hall of Famers everywhere. There was future Hall of Famers everywhere. Got to get Mike Schmidt's autograph because he was doing some announcing. One of my favorite trips ever, and that was early days when there wasn't as crazy popular as it is now. But I would say to everybody listening live or on the replay later, I don't like Houston either, but I'm probably going down to Houston for this one because it's one of the best. It's a party. Like, if you don't like loud, don't go. Stay home on your couch. But the party in the stands, I was there for Team Mexico USA the first time they played in the WBC, and it's just spring training, so it's not a big park by any means. Every seat's good, and we were between first and home, the very, very top row, which is probably like 20 rows, not a lot of rows, and so our back was to the wall, and we had the game in front of us. We had a freaking mariachi band to our left. We had the party of all time to our right. One of my favorite scenes ever, and it's only getting better and better every year. The Asian teams come to play, the Dominican team, the Colombian team. I get down there and have some fun. And you said something when you were talking about that. You're going to watch it as a fan instead of having to work it. I want to ask this because I do love the content creation side. I love sports writers, and I love being a fan. Does it take away from any of your joy when you're working, when you've got to crank out an article or whatever, or as you said, you're looking forward, I think is how you said it, to not having to cover it. It intrigued me, so I'll just leave it there and hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I don't think it takes away from the joy of it, but it is definitely different. Kind of when you're watching a game in the back of your head, you're thinking like, okay, what story? Here's a story I can write. What angle am I going to go at this game from?
That makes
And then you're
sense.
thinking
That
the
makes
bigger
sense.
picture because it's not only game stories that we have to write; it's feature stories. So what kind of feature story can I do about this? Run in the mornings or something like that. When you're watching as a fan, it is definitely more just like enjoying a ball game at the park, and yeah, so it's different. Does it take away from the experience? I guess naturally, yes, but not really in a negative way, I wouldn't say.
Just
Um,
different.
yeah, just different for sure. But it's obviously like amazing to be able to do this for work. Like come on, that's like the best thing ever.
I'm jealous. I don't get jealous, but this is my jealous face. I'm not gonna lie.
But it does, yeah, it is different. But this year, last year I had to write, game stories about it. Last WBC. This year I won't. So I'm excited to enjoy that as a fan, and hopefully the U.S. can reclaim the top of the podium.
Let's do it, Coach DeRosa. 2 on, 2 out. Bomba 5. Baltimore up 1-0. Jackson Holiday, big brother of the likely first-round draft pick here in a couple weeks, up to bat. Filthy slider, just missed. We're 2-1. You a draft, Nick? You a draft fan? Do you follow the MLB draft?
Yeah, not too much. Kind of a little bit from a Rangers perspective. Usually it's closer to time. I wouldn't say I'm really in the know of all the prospects. I do watch the college game, which I know we're going to get into, but yeah, to an extent, I think I know a lot of the prospects, but nothing too crazy. But closer to time, we'll definitely do research and know about that and just kind of see where the Rangers are at. Who are they going to pick? This year, I feel like they haven't picked a high school guy in a while, but this year, oh, that is trouble. And
3-run bomb for a Holiday. Looked like he knew it. I got to be honest, I wasn't so sure. He set up like he thought it was gone. I thought maybe it was going to stay up, but what do I know? I'm just looking at a little screen on my screen. 4-0 bad guys, 2 outs, bomb of 5. Ethan Holiday might be the first-round draft pick. Jackson Holiday is, well, a former first-round draft pick. 1-1, 3-run bomb, a lefty on lefty crime. Boy, he really didn't know it. I got to be honest, it barely left. I thought it would stay in the park, but no, it was out. It was pretty good. Now I watched the replay. It had some legs. 4-0. I said it earlier, Kane. We're down by 1 or 2. I feel a little guilty. When we're down by 4, I have very little confidence in this lineup right now. No Corey, no Smitty. Frustration reigns, at least in my head. 18 people here live. Glad you are here with Kane and me. 15 people on Clubhouse, Texas Clubhouse. 2 over on Dope Dad. Thanks for being here, guys. Come on over to the Texas Clubhouse. Subscribe over here. Say hello. 1 person over on Twitch. I'm glad you're here wherever you are. But again, the best chat experience is over on the Texas Clubhouse. Hope you come out over here. When you're a writer, Kane, and you're watching the ball game, but you're also on X, how do you determine, this is a very selfish question, what you put out on X right now and what you say for a story? And how do you manage that? I don't know if anybody in chat's going to care about that, but I very much am interested in your answer. Hey, Michael, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, maybe. Hopefully not, but maybe. We'll see.
yeah, so I think X is kind of mostly just for me is updates, right? Like for the people that maybe aren't watching the game or that are just kind of provide some context about what happened. Obviously, if there's any like big stats that are relayed to us, I will post those. In terms of the story is also the same thing, but quotes are such a game, quotes are such a big deal for stories. So you're kind of almost basing your story around that, kind of seeing like, what's going to be said and what, because I almost feel like for me in my stories, I will put a claim out there and then look for either a stat or a quote to back it up. Twitter and X throughout the game, I always still call it Twitter, I'm so sorry. X throughout the game is mostly kind of just my claims and kind of what I see happening. And then the stories are much more from a player's and coach's perspective, what happened throughout the game. So I think that's kind of how you differentiate the two, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a really good point. I often wonder, like the I don't know, Adam Schefter or Jeff Passan or whoever, they're with the instant news on X, and there's often a battle for getting it out there first, or being first, or giving credit who's first and retweeting it or whatever. But I wonder how, when you're getting paid to do what they do, where the ROI, to use your word from earlier, is for like a Jeff Passan to put it out there and then not put it in his article. I mean, maybe you're following on X, send them to the articles. I mean, this might be way inside baseball stuff, but it intrigues me.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what that's kind of how I would say I would look at it, is mostly our industry is pretty driven by X. And so, you think that, that's kind of where you build up your readers and stuff like that. And companies do a great job of promoting stuff as well. So they'll help you on that. But and especially just like, I mean, really, media and writing in general, it's not like you're reading my stories in the paper every day. So they've got to be driven from somewhere. And so, I think they're driven from X, and that's where you kind of build up, and then people see it, and that's where they click on your stories and stuff like that.
That makes sense. That's interesting perspective. Again, I don't know if anybody in the chat cared about that answer, but I certainly did. I like that stuff. Do you see yourself being a writer as a career forever?
I would like to. I really like kind of just doing my own thing. It's a very, it's a very individual process. You're working with other people, but you're working by yourself at the same time. And I love it. I can watch other things on my phone, watch other sports on my phone during the game, so I don't miss, the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs or XYZ, versus if I was on the air, not being able to do that. But I mean, I would like to, for sure. It's fun. And honestly, before I started, didn't even really know that it was a career option.
Wow,
but
really?
now that I've done it, I really do enjoy it. So I definitely would like to.
Well, there's so many options in sports media now. I mean, you can do your own thing. You can do the YouTube thing. You can go do the Substack thing. You can work for a company. You can be talent. You could be on the radio. You could be on the TV. I mean, I think maybe the YouTube world is going to be taking over for TV as long as ESPN keeps sucking. I'll just put that out there. He didn't say that. ESPN, you can still hire him, but I'll say it. But I think that the world is changing it, and to have your options in the sports media world, I think Kane, I would buy stock in Kane. You're a young man in a I think a growth industry. I don't know. I think you're here. I'm gonna maybe say something negative about people you probably like and work with. I think there are so many dinosaurs in the sports. Kane's not talking, Jeff is now. in what you do, that are stuck in their ways, that a young man like you has opportunity to to take some land. Let's put it that way. Is that too blunt?
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I think certainly a challenge of the industry, I guess, kind of always, but now it feels even more in particular, is like keeping up with stuff and like using it to your advantage. Like I think AI is so looked down upon from the industry, but I think that if you
how so and why?
I just think like Chat GPT, like I use Chat GPT. But obviously, I always, not to write my stories. I don't want anyone thinking that I just say, hey, write a story about this. But I use it for stats a lot. Obviously, I have to double check it to make sure what they're saying is right. But it can look stuff up a lot quicker.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then I could just type in, hey, where'd you get that information? And it'll take me right to the Fangraphs page or the baseball reference page. Then because then I can look that up. It's so much faster. So I do use it on that front. I use it for ideas of, hey, what should I post on? What kind of content should I post on?
So let me go back a little bit. I know I'm interrupting, but where I don't understand the controversy there. Like what I think you let off with, the industry is afraid. I don't know how you said it.
I just
I'm going to say afraid of AI, but
I just feel like if I were to tell people, hey, I'm a journalist and I use AI to help me, I think that's looked down upon a lot for whatever.
That's insane though. Like, I mean, do they Google stuff? It's the same. I go to Grok, you go to Chat GPT. I just put Gemini on my phone the other day because, well, I won't bore people with why now, but it's just a search engine.
Right.
I mean, what am I missing? What are people anti-AI about? I mean, I know that like my mom is, people who don't know what it is Is it that, Kane? Is it they
Yeah,
don't know what it
I
is?
think it's just that. I think it's just the people that are vastly against it. But kind of going back to the bigger picture is like you use the new stuff to your advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously
Yes,
in
absolutely.
an ethical way, but yeah. So I think in terms of like young people do have the advantage of that, and I also think too like so for example, like I know a lot of like there's a lot of like work from home jobs now, and I'm kind of thinking about that, and I'm like, well, if that trend continues, like don't young people like have an advantage, and because they know how to use these computers and all this technology, and it's like yeah, so like use it to your advantage for sure. Don't know where the boundary lines are. But yeah, definitely. I mean, use it to your advantage, stay on top of it because it's there. So just
Yeah.
figure out how can it benefit you.
Yeah, when I said that, called some of the old guard dinosaurs, I was thinking more in terms. I mean, I love what you said. That's interesting to me. It's an interesting insight to me that, frankly, I makes me think they're even more dinosaurs than I thought. But for me, I was about like Hall of Fame voting and old school versus new school and getting mad at. Well, like okay, let's go back to the NBA last night. I didn't watch the game. I had family stuff going on. I was aware of what was going on, but I wasn't watching it. But I was on X doing my thing. And when the game ended, the story quickly became, well, the injury was a part of it, but then the lack of the celebration or lack thereof. It was very subdued to say the least. And I think that there was probably two things at play there. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about. Are you aware of the celebration?
Vaguely,
Okay. So
vaguely, yeah.
I think that part of it was behind the scenes, not for cameras, but two, they're kids. Some of them aren't even old enough to drink. And I'm not a drinker, but I'm not an anti-drinker. I don't partake that much. But my point is, I think it's just it's a different world. But back to the reporter thing, I don't know that I like the worldview, let's put it that way, of so many of the longtime writers who I respect as writers, like way old. Might not even know the name, but Peter Gammons was the big name when I was your age because he was the old guy then in Boston who was on ESPN because ESPN was centered where it was and the Red Sox were where they were, and he was with the Boston Globe. And now he's a dinosaur, and now he's just a bitter, angry guy. And I think that there's a lot of almost like my issue with umpires, which we'll probably talk about a little bit. I kind of have an issue with reporters, baseball reporters specifically, but sports reporters, and I blame ESPN for a lot of this, but they seem so I don't want to say this wrong, like they're pushing an agenda, whether it be political or their viewpoint in sports rather than reporting on it. I love opinion. I think I'm an opinion guy, but I think that the world, I'll just go straight to this and then ask for your response. I think the world today more than ever is so ready for a new crop of young, intelligent, passionate sports fans to share what's going on in the field when they can't be there. And I think young people I think it's a great opportunity for Kane and for other people. What a weird bounce that was. As a career. I'm surprised that you said earlier you didn't think it was a career. I mean, sounds like you got a little lucky if you didn't think it was a career, and here you are. I don't know. I'll just let you take that wherever you want to go. Maybe I'm just having diarrhea of the mouth. Hey, TLC, what's going on?
I think that kind of your take brings me back to like something that I wish I would have learned my first year and not in between my third and fourth year, is that like if you're a reporter or a journalist and you are trying to be in the spotlight, you're already in the wrong. Like that is not the
well
job.
said. Well
That is
said.
not the job of a journalist. And I'll be honest, like, well, my second year, probably the most, like, I really struggled with pride a lot. Like I was at the point where like, I was, that was just something that I had struggled with. And I had to really like think about that from a Christian worldview context of like, how am I going to address this issue in my career? Because it's a very easy thing to fall into. So that
when you say it that way, were you feeling a lot of it, or were you like on the other end of it? I'm not sure which way you're going with that.
I was feeling a lot of it. Yeah, I was feeling a lot of it.
Gotcha.
And so that's something too. I know you're talking about, Langford with the rip right there.
Shot.
I know
I wasn't sure if you're doing like
about
the imposter thing or you're or the other side of it? Like, I wasn't sure what you're saying there.
Yeah. I know we were talking a lot about like what to do, how to get into the industry from a sports perspective, but you've got like, from a work perspective, you also got to think about it from a personal perspective of like, how are you gonna integrate this into your life when you start doing this as
Okay.
a career? And that's a big thing for sure, is pride. That's a huge thing. And so you got to definitely
Interesting.
watch out for that.
Well, you mentioned earlier, and I don't want to get overly personal, but you mentioned, the girlfriend. I'm obviously married with kids. I mean, when you're doing a career, a job, whatever the right way to say it is, that keeps you out at night, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. There was a small time in my life where I had this is a funny story, actually. I haven't told this story in years. I'm going to tell this story. I used to run Boys and Girls Clubs. I'm a nonprofit executive director, CEO, blah, blah, blah. This is when I was a middle manager, and my executive director at the time wanted me to take over a teen program, and I didn't want to. And it was an evening teen program. It was going to keep me from on Friday nights and Saturday nights at work until like 10 p.m. And I didn't live very close. And I'm like, I have a young wife. We've got we didn't even have our family yet. Like, we're brand new married. I'm like, Sue, who I love, she was my boss at the time. The only way I would take this job is if you let me, because I had to hire 4 people, is one of the people I got to hire was my wife. And that was a mistake because she said yes. And so there I was working nights, and it was better because my wife was there, and now we work together, and it was actually a huge blessing. But it's hard to do a career and have a family life, a personal life, a relaxation when you're getting home at 11 p.m. if you're lucky.
Yeah, that I'm leaving. Yeah, you're leaving at 11 if you're lucky.
Yeah, I bet. Do you write the articles there? Do you write or do you do your content or whatever it is at the park before you bail? I mean, I would think you would have to, right?
Yes, I do. So so my story is up before I leave. So if that story's not up, then I cannot leave.
Interesting. So do you write it in game, or can you even write anything until the post game? Well, you said you write it often around quotes, you said. So
yeah, so that kind of depends on the person. For me, I often have nothing on my page once the game is over. In fact,
wow.
sometimes I do not even have a page until the game's
wow.
over. Now, there's more complexions to it. There's other stories that you have to write. Sometimes during games, you have to write features that are going to run the next morning or stuff like that. Sure. But as far as game stories go, yeah, I think something that my first year and like second years, I would oftentimes write the story too soon, during the game. And then I would kind of look back on my stories and be like, man, I left out a good part of the story. So yeah, I think now I really take the time to kind of, digest what happened and really make sure that I tell the story from all angles.
That's awesome. Cool insight. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I am. When I do these and I interview people, I try to keep the audience in mind and what they might want to hear. I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of that, because I'm just interested in this, because I've always liked this. I like sports writers. I like content creation, and I love baseball. So this is very cool. Favorite sports writer?
Oh my! You're asking me to pick them to my friends. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be a Ranger one. Matter of fact, if I were you, I wouldn't pick a Ranger one, but you can say whatever you want. I mean, I'm a fan of a whole bunch of people, but I'll shut up and listen.
Let me think. Oh my gosh. There's so
many. Broadcaster, I guess, maybe to give you take a little bit of heat off. Maybe broadcaster.
Broadcasters. In the sports I grew up listening to Eric, and so getting to work with him now is it's awesome. So definitely Eric and Matt for sure. Writers, I love reading the Stars stuff. I think Mike Heika with the NHL, the people at the Dallas Morning News do a great job. I read that type of stuff. I really love I kind of just read what I get on my phone. So I get all the ESPN, Bleacher Report, CBS notifications. So all those guys. But really, I think once you do it, you can kind of appreciate, everyone's work in a sense. And because the work that went into said story, and it really helps you appreciate more when you're reading a good story that provides a lot of insight and background information. You're like, holy cow, the links that they went to get that, they've been sitting on that for a while, and to read it is really good. So I know ESPN has a lot of good stuff. I just enjoy reading, all kinds of content. I love sports, and I love reading the content. So I really just enjoy all of it.
I consume a lot of sports writing, sports content in general. I think I'm looking forward to you and your generation doing what I'll say is a better job than mine's doing. I think that my generation's sports writers are sometimes more challenged than I think they should be. I'll just leave it at that. And what I'm annoyed with more than them, though, is the umpires. Where do you stand on what is it, ABS? Yeah, ABS.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know fully where I stand. I think I personally enjoy watching some of the bad umpire calls. I'm like, holy cow! Like that's
so hold on. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna get it. Say that again because I'm gonna want to clip this because I'm gonna yell at you in a minute. What did you just say? You enjoy what?
I like watching the umpire screw ups. As someone who, of course, I look. I'll say this. I don't have as much of a rooting interest in baseball as I used to, of course, writing. So I think watching, like, I'm like, how can some of these guys be this bad?
Yes, thank you for saying that.
To watch. ABS, I think it's going to be in, obviously.
Sure.
And I think it adds an interesting component to the game. We're not going fully robotic, which I like. And, we're adding in the challenges, and we're going to see which guys have baseball IQ and which guys don't, who's going to challenge a ball that wasn't even close. So I'm excited to see that. But I'm all for how can we use technology to improve the game. I mean, look at the pitch clock. Like that has saved my first year on the beat. There was no pitch clock. And I mean, getting home at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and, having to turn around the next day for a day game, like that sucked. And so it's just better for everyone. It's better for fans. It's better for players. It's better for media members. It's better for everyone. So I think the MLB overall, the changes that they've made to the game in the last, even since I started with the bigger bases and the shift and it's all been great in my opinion. So I have no doubt that, when they do add in the ABS, they're going to find a way to make it smooth. And I know it was popular in spring training, just talking to guys about it. So I think I am excited to see that for sure. And I will say I will lose some of the amusement, as I mentioned, of watching some of these guys make these horrible calls. And I'm like, how on earth? But
so I think that's a perfect segue to move into college baseball, because what the actual heck happened? I know you know what I'm talking about. LSU 2 out of 3 now, right? Didn't they win it 2 out of 3 years? I think that's right.
Yes, 23 and now 25.
Yeah, and are you an LSU fan? I know there's an LSU connection. I don't remember what it is.
I am an LSU fan. Yes,
awesome.
I go to DBU, which is so funny because DBU played LSU in the playoffs and then earlier in the regular season. I'm full on supporting LSU. I don't want anyone. Like I go to DBU. It's an amazing school. I love
Dallas Baptist University, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, just for anybody who's listening.
I wish them the best of luck in their sports. I will not be cheering for them to win. I'm an LSU fan through and through.
Wow, really?
So, yes, I was full on to the point where I remember watching, like, my family's going for DBU because I go there when they're playing LSU.
And you're not?
I mean, man, what those guys did, what a run. Getting to see that. LSU baseball is it's something different. I mean, you got to think Louisiana, no MLB team. Like, that is the baseball team there. And the fan base is so passionate. What a run. It's just no matter the personnel, no matter the coach, they get it done. And so Jay Johnson, speaking of coaches, the phenomenal baseball coach. And, to win 2 in 4 years is pretty crazy. But what a run. So glad to see him get number 8. I know I shouted him out on your show the last time I did, countless other podcasts before the playoffs, and to see him get it done was great. And we're talking about the MLB draft. Cade Anderson.
Yes.
Is probably going to should be the number 1 pick. I mean, he's a baller for sure.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's a little much, but I think he's top 10, maybe even top 5. By the way, just to go to the game, bases loaded. Bochy comes to get Corbin. I think they said Webb's coming in. This game will really be out of hand unless Webb can get us out of this mess right here. Kane McCutcheon talking LSU baseball. You go to DBU now. Dallas Baptist University. Am I crazy? They have a great baseball program, yes?
Yes, great baseball program.
And you're not going to root for them against LSU?
I did not root for them against LSU. No, I did not. I actually went to when LSU played DBU at Globe Life in February. I went full on supporting LSU. Couldn't hang out with any of my friends from DBU because I was like, man, I'm not over there. But
there's my professor over there. I better not let him see me rooting for LSU.
I remember time I was actually wearing my LSU stuff at class, and
God,
one of my professors goes, "I'm sure LSU is appreciating the free advertising you're giving them." I told him, I was
right
like, "Dude, I do not care about DVU sports. I wish them the best of luck. But I'm here for the education. That is it."
now. Do you have, by any chance, any classes with any athletes? Because that could be interesting, especially a ball player. Because
Yeah.
you right.
So funny
think
story. Yeah, I guess funny story.
you're not sure you want to tell the story. I can tell. That's
I'll
funny.
tell the story. I'll tell the story. In the small group that I go to at DVU last year, there was a baseball player on the on the in the small group, and he came and they were about to play LSU, and I told him, I was like, I wish you the best of luck. If you get in the game, I hope you do well, but I hope y'all fall a little bit short.
Does he know what you do?
I won't lie. When it comes to class professors and classmates, I usually try not to tell them. Most of them know, but I don't. You're not hearing it from me.
Gotcha.
I try to lay low. And
I mean, if I'm a baseball player at DBU and I have in my class a beat writer for the Rangers, I'm probably going to know that. I mean, I don't. Maybe they won't. I don't know. I can't speak for the kids now, but I would have known. Bases loaded, nobody out. Colby Mayo.
This
one
is
for two on the day.
This is a
Good
situation for sure.
Yeah. I think it's time to give a look at the ball game here. Nobody out, bases loaded. Oh, a little dribbler past the mound. It's no score run. Simeons throws 4-3, 5-0. I'm not going to say the game's over, but evidence might. Evidence demands a verdict. One of my favorite books ever. But that's not about this. But the evidence that I have is we're in trouble tonight. 5-0 in Baltimore. Webb makes the play there. He could have probably thrown home and keep it a 4-run game, but it gets by him, and that's the 5th run. Yuck. All right, so back to it. What do you think of that umpire in the Coastal Carolina doesn't deserve a coach for the final game of the dang season situation?
I was very, very surprised to see. Obviously, whatever happened, but just like in general, like surprised to see a coach get tossed. Oh, there we go. This will pop out. That'll work. Very surprised to see a coach get tossed in what ended up being the final game of the season. Usually we don't see that, right? Just like we don't see fights in the playoffs very often.
He said you've missed 3 calls. He didn't say your sister something or your mother something. He said you missed 3 calls.
Right. Yeah, it was a little bit of a short hook in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's an understatement of the century. Yeah, I think, and I'll just put it out there, I think that the umpires they should lose some power, and that right at the top of the losing the power should be to be able to throw somebody out. I think it should be rare. It should be shockingly, it should be newsworthy that somebody got kicked out of the game. I know that Earl Weaver, 20 years before you were born, was fun to watch on the highlights, but the world isn't like that anymore. I hate that umpires can send Ohtani or Judge or the coach of the dang 21-year-olds playing ball in the most important sportsy moment of their life. And many of them will never play the game again after that day. And they take their leader and they send him away and the first base coach because the guy said, you missed 3 calls. I don't want to say fire because people have real jobs and all, but that's ridiculous.
I think that's fair. I was very surprised to see that for sure. Yeah, you gotta feel for, how many hours and work the coach put in, obviously the players, but then the coaches too, to get to that point and to be thrown out. But I do feel for them. I do not feel much for Coastal Carolina after they could not list a single thing that they admired about LSU baseball at the press conference before the series started. So after that point, I was like, yeah, this is not going well for y'all.
So you're being a fan there because I'm on. Look, so you said this earlier. You're less of a fan now, I think is how you might have said it. I root for the Rangers. I do. I root for the Rangers unapologetically. I root for the Dodgers. That's who I loved when I was a kid. But I root more for baseball. I love the game. And so when I'm saying, I get this on X all the time, strike 3, Webb kind of gets out of the inning. It's 5-0 as the Rangers come back. It's actually a pretty good job and almost got out of it totally. I'm not saying it's over, but we only have 3 hits. We're going to need 6 runs to win this game. Going to what? The top of 7, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know. Man, I don't really understand. Yeah, I'm not even going to say that. I'm gonna bite my tongue a little bit. I'm just gonna bite my tongue on that. I don't know. I don't want to go there so much, honestly. Cameron, everyone should boo them when they get home. I left that up there for a while. And that's kind of where my brain went because I was thinking about 2 things. I deeply disagree with that. You know, I don't know what I was saying to you that made me think fan how you want to fan. And oh yeah, it is because you said you're less of a fan now than you were. I'm a fan of baseball.
Rangers, I'll say that. In terms of the Rangers,
yeah.
Other sports, I'm full on letting it rip. But Rangers,
when I'm saying something about the umpires, I'm not one of those guys who thinks, oh, the Rangers got screwed. I hate it, and I don't know where you stand on this. I'm going to make fun blanketly of people who I think are dumb. Like there's two funniest groups in the world to me are flat earthers and people who think the games are rigged. I think those two are both stupid groups of people. And please don't tell me if you are one of those because I'll feel like a guilty jerk now. But when I'm mad at an umpire for being bad, it's about the game. Like a lot of people don't like the ABS because I even talked to a scout with Cleveland. Actually, it was at the tournament that you talked about, but the year before the preseason college game. And I was sitting with the Guardians crew anyway, and we were talking about ABS and when it was about to be put into Major League Baseball, it hadn't yet. And he was of the opinion that it was going to hurt the value of catchers because of framing and all that. Now, I'm a former pitcher, and it drives me crazy when an umpire, I don't actually believe that framing is that much of a thing. I think bad umpiring is that much of a thing. I think the way that dudes are throwing the ball now, talking about the major leagues here, at 94 to 99 consistently with filthy sink, with filthy dip, with riding in on people, riding away from people, movement like crazy, that we expect the umpires to do something that's harder from the position we put them in than it is for me with the stupid red box. If I just sit here on my couch and they put the stupid red box up there, I see better and quicker and more correctly if that's a ball or a strike than they do standing behind the catcher. F9 for Dolly, 1 out, top of 7. I think what we ask them to do is impossible. And it's stupid. And when I'm mad at an umpire, I'm mad that they're hurting the game, not that I think they're hurting my team. I think that I don't quite understand that whole the umpires are against me, or, you know, a lot of it in the NFL more than baseball. Fandom seem to think that it's scripted and all that. I've talked a lot. What are your thoughts on that? You as a writer, do you talk about that? Do you, whether it be from the fan perspective or your perspective? I'll shut up and listen.
Can confirm that the games are not scripted from what I know, unless it comes from above me. I think when it comes to bad umpiring and framing, I kind of see those as like very much related. I think framing is manipulating umpires, and like obviously. So I think like framing does it. The job is to make the umpire look bad. Like it's to trick the umpire. I think both can be hand in hand. But yeah, I mean, I think we see it we talk about tennis. We see it in tennis with the automatic in out. I mean, if we have the technology, ultimately what it's to get it right? Like that's the main goal. So I think whatever you got to do to get it right, you know, and it'll be an adjustment. But whatever you got to do to get it right, that's what matters truly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like it's a good spot because we were talking about the College World Series, and I want to talk, and we talked about the WNBA, where with Kane McCutcheon, he's a beat writer for both the Texas Rangers and the Dallas Wings. The Paige, what's her last name? Buckers? Am I saying that right? I don't know.
Beckers, yeah.
Beckers? Becker? Like B-E, like Boris Becker?
Yeah, Paige Beckers, yeah.
Beckers, okay. Wow, nice catch right there by the shortstop. Yeah. Beautiful. And there we go. We got 6 more outs to get 6 runs. Oh, we got to hold them. I think we're in big trouble. 5-0. Baltimore shutting us out. We got 3 runs going to the bottom of the 7th. Yuck, 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 yuck. Kane, what are your thoughts on this? We've talked about college baseball. The College World Series, I think, is unbelievable theater. It's an amazing sports event that you got to have ESPN Plus for and know how to bounce around to even find the dang thing. And then we have the WNBA, which you cover. Fans of the Green Bay Packers, member for 2 months. Keep up. Thank you so much, fans of the Green Bay Packers. Hey, because of that, you can get a Sorry, Kane. Green Bay Packers. You get to pick a player. You can't pick Bobby Witt or Cal Raleigh because of that. You're going to be in the contest now. If they win the home run derby and or if they win the All-Star break, you win. So fans of the Green Bay Packers, drop in the chat. You can't have Bobby Witt already been picked. You can't have Cal Raleigh. Anybody who super chats or re-ups or becomes a member gets to be in that contest. We're giving away some good stuff. Hopefully you've seen the ads that I put out there so you know what I'm giving away. Let me know who you want, and I appreciate that very much. What the heck? Why is ESPN covering the Savannah Bananas and the WNBA and not the College World Series? I think that's nuts. What say you?
The Savannah Bananas thing, that is crazy. I cannot believe that is on ESPN's airways.
And baseball is not going to be, and it barely is. They like mock baseball.
I think the bigger question that needs to be asked is like the coverage of college baseball in general. Like we look at, there's ranked matchups going on every weekend, and they're not really covered. For football or basketball, that would never happen. Like there's a market for it, and it needs to be better. I mean, some of it is the timing of the season, right? Like, obviously there's a lot else going on. But yeah, I think college baseball in general, it's got to be better. We look at what the College World Series is and how big it's become, and watching LSU play every night, and when they play at the box, it's packed. There's not an empty seat in there. It's like there's a market for it, and it needs to be better. It needs to be better tapped into. I really hope that whether it's ESPN, I think there's a real opportunity for someone to tap into that market and really make it pop.
Deeply agree with what you said. When I told you I was going to talk about this, I was going to try to make fun of your WNBA a little bit more than that. I know you love LSU. Miss Reese might be from LSU. Yeah. Do I have that right?
That's correct. Yes.
She I remember making fun of, again, I'm way older than you, Bill Walton back in the day for getting all the rebounds of his own miss. And then he dunked. Angel, what? Is it real? Did she put out for grab the copyright of what was it? I already forgot.
The Me Bounds, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Me Bounds. Yeah. Thank you. Me Bounds.
That is true.
I don't understand it. Why don't you help? Okay, so a guy who I guess I'm not their target audience. Dave Dunning, by the way, which surprises me because that means he's not starting tomorrow. But Dane Dunning's in for the Rangers 5-0 bad guys. Jackson Holiday up to bat, 2 for 2, 3-run bomb earlier in the game. I am not currently a fan of the WNBA. You are someone who writes about the NBA and probably consider part of your job. I don't want to speak for you. You tell me if I'm wrong. To bring fans to the WNBA, I would think. You don't have me. You don't have me. I liked the NBA back in the day. I still like college basketball, but I don't watch a lot of it anymore. How can you sell me on the WNBA? And I'll just leave it there. I think that there's some big negatives there politically and athleticism wise.
Well, I can't speak politically. I think that is something that each person has to weigh. I think in terms of like the game is definitely getting a lot better. I mean, even since I started working it, I mean, just look at Caitlin Clark. Like, obviously, no one in the history of the WNBA has been able to create her own shot off dribble like Caitlin Clark can.
She's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I think the college game is growing, and in turn, the WNBA is growing. I was talking to, this was the other day. I was talking to Kurt Miller, who's the GM of the most popular, like most famous WNBA. GMs, head coaches of all time. And he was telling me that like when he first started and he was interviewing draft prospects, they didn't know anything about the WNBA. Like the college players that were going to the WNBA, they didn't know anything. And now it's starting to grow more. And I think the players are getting better. So I think that as time goes on, we're going to start to see like, the players are better, more fun to watch. And so I think in terms, the league is going to grow. I will say this though, if you're not really into basketball, it's tough I don't see a lot of casual basketball watchers, honestly. I think there's the people that are really into it. And then like any sport, there's the people that, are going to watch the playoffs here and there. But I just think that the way it's covered, certain, like going back to like in an NBA perspective, like how certain teams steal so much of the spotlight nationally. I just think that if you're not, just like the finals, I told people about this finals. I said, if you're not really into basketball, this is not the finals for you. But because it doesn't have the stars, doesn't have the big name, doesn't have the big markets. But if you're really into basketball, you can understand that this is a really good finals. And so
But
I
isn't
think
that a marketing issue, though? I mean, SGA might be the best player in the league. I mean, it's arguable, but it's arguable.
Yeah, I think to an extent.
Halliburton. Halliburton.
I think it has a lot to do with media markets, unfortunately. It's two small market teams going at it. But, going back to the WBA, I'll say this. If you're a casual basketball fan, maybe right now it's not for you. I think the level is rising. And, I think that the players, there's a lot of really skilled players that are going to come in and have started to come in. I think in terms it's going to rise, and a new cream will rise to the top. I think I will say this about the politics of it. I'm not going to get into it. I do think that does turn some people off.
1,000%. And
that's all I'll say about that. But I don't care about that. I'm here to tell the story of the basketball, but I think that turns people off, some people off, and I get it. I think
turns me off.
I think that's every.
That's fair. The NFL's pissing me off too. Let me ask it this way. If I were to say, I'll just make a statement. You tell me how you're saying. Hey, Rusty, what's going on? Do you think we'll ever see college baseball take over the minor league system similar to NFL, NBA? That would certainly energize college baseball. Let's get to that in a minute. That's a great question, Rusty. We'll get to that in a minute. But let me ask you this first, Kane, to stay on this conversation. I'm going to make a statement. You tell me your response. If I'm a casual WNBA fan, when I come to the game because Caitlin Clark is unbelievably marketable, but unbelievably skilled, beautiful to watch. She's insane good. She's Babe Ruth good in comparison to the next best player in the league, in my never so humble opinion. And then you watch a league, and I guess when I'm saying politics, I don't mean Democrat, Republican, Biden, Trump. I mean, what the hell are they doing with the refs? I mean, what's her name? Sophie Cunningham is the second or the third most popular, famous WNBA player, and nobody knew her name 2 weeks ago outside of the very, very uber fans of the WNBA. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me your thoughts. I think they are hemorrhaging an opportunity that actually makes me mad. I'm not even a fan of the league that much. I mean, I could be. Like with the tennis thing, I like watching college basketball more than the NBA because they're more fundamentally sound. They play a fun game. There's different, offenses and defenses and coaching and strategy. The NBA travels every time they touch the ball, and LeBron drives me batty. I don't want to hear his lip. The WNBA doesn't even care about their biggest star. What's going on? I'll shut up and listen.
Yeah, I think I kind of compared it to like I don't know if anyone watched the Last Dance documentary, and they were talking about the Jordan rules where they would just push him to the ground.
Spectacular documentary.
When he got close, I kind of think that is what it is with Caitlin Clark. Like, you're going to be more physical when you play her. You're going to try to knock her around a little bit, and I think that's basketball. I think
I totally agree. I have no issue with that. I loved the Dennis Rodman, Larry Bird time. That was great. That foul the other night, which there could be a million stories here, but that third person in who knocked her on her butt, not the one that raked her face. You could argue that was part of the game. The third person in, that's freaking assault. I mean, what?
I'll say this, to your point, that was very poor officiating. Something happens one time, and those two teams had gone at it before, so it's not like they didn't know that was going to happen. That happens one time. It can't happen. Like, the refs have to do a better job of controlling the game. And Stephanie White, the coach of the Fever, said that too. Like, you knew it was going to happen. If the coach knows it's going to happen, the refs, of course, know it's going to happen. You got to do a better job of controlling the game, for sure.
Kane McCutcheon, beat writer, Texas Rangers, Dallas Wings. Great question from one of my good friends, Russell. So weird to call you that. Taylor do you think we'll ever see college baseball take over minor league system similar to NFL, NBA? That would certainly energize college baseball. Let me jump in real fast, and I'll get your thought, Kane. No, it's a lot of money in college athletics. I think there's 0% chance of that. I also think it's different. Like, Kane, I want to hear from whatever you have to say. I don't want what I say to color what you're going to say. But the kid Anderson for LSU that just pitched 120 plus pitches, that wouldn't happen if he was already under the control of the Rays or the Dodgers, whoever. But Kane, what are your thoughts on Rusty's thought?
Yeah, I don't think so. I just think like
it's different games. One's about development and one's about winning.
I think the game is so much different than like other sports, which is why you have that in other sports. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I definitely would provide an interesting twist to college baseball, knowing like, hey, in a matter of months, like this guy is going to play for your MLB team. But I think in some aspects, the college game would hurt a lot from that. Like we're seeing it kind of with football where like guys don't want to play in the bowl games. And like when I first started watching college football, it was a high honor to play in any bowl game. And that wasn't even that long ago. And now
I hate
like
that.
no one wants to play in the bowl game unless it's playoffs. And like, you know, I think of like the summer league for basketball, and we see what happens when teams have control over the players. Where like I see the advertisements for the summer league, and they're like Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey and all these guys. I'm like, they're not even going to really play. Like they're going to play one game, and then the teams are going to shut them down. So I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. It would be definitely interesting to see. I think it would benefit, but also it would hurt the college game as well. And I think the way the MLB is with the minor league, I'll say this: I think guys are getting fast tracked more to the majors than they, ever have been. And
I mean, if they get drafted by the Angels, they sure are. My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think so. I think we are seeing and will continue to see an acceleration as far as like time spent in the minors, maybe, but I don't think we're never going to replace like that now.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting and fun from a, kind of a fantasy, not fantasy baseball, but fantasy. It's a fun exercise to talk about, but I don't think there's any chance it would happen. I just think that if you go to LSU, you're trying to win a title for your boys and your team and the school. If you get drafted by the Guardians, well, you're about you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is what it is. I think that's probably what I love about college sports. And then we could probably get into the NIL talk if you want. Fans of the Green Bay Packers picks Corey Seager. So we've got Bobby Witt, Cal Raleigh, and now Corey Seager unavailable. If you super chat or you become a member of the channel, you get to be in the contest. The biggest prize is the Texas Rangers World Series Funko Pop. And I'll do a video about that here. The World Series coming pretty quick. Hello, humans. It's me, David T. What's going on, David T? Hope you're having a great day. David T. Kane, David T. Hope you're having a great day. David T. 17-0. Not really, but it just feels like it's 6-0. Baltimore. Top of 8. Justin Foscue. I think he's 0 for his last 45 or something now, if you count what's going on right now. 0 for 2 today. That was me. And I'm a fan. I hope he has a hit right here. Let's be real. That's what I'm rooting for. Number 56. Doesn't give me a lot of confidence, but whatever. Kane, did you play ball in the day? Any sports? I mean, you mentioned you played a little tennis. Did you play any? Well, what sports did you play when you were you were a kid? You're still young.
I played baseball from the time I was 4, and pretty much actually until I started working the job I had. Nice. So I played throughout. No, never really another sport. I wasn't allowed to play football. My parents knew that I was a baseball guy, so they didn't want me getting hurt playing football. Basketball for fun. That's the main sport I play now. I play basketball at pretty much the highest level you can get to without playing it on an actual team, because these pickup games that we play are really intense, and we've played with like me and my friends. I remember not even that long ago, we're playing at the rec, and we just got cooked by this really huge dude, and I'm like, bro, who is this dude? And like a couple weeks later, my friend calls me. He's like, yeah, that dude is actually a pro basketball player. He plays in Turkey. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense that we just got absolutely destroyed by them. But I play basketball a lot now with my friends at the rec, and I feel like athletes just here in DFW are just good, and so the players we play are really good. depending on who it is, you can play some not so good people and then play a good people the next game. But yeah, so mostly basketball now. I really enjoy playing with my friends, and if we have an off day or a Saturday morning where the team's on the road, chances are you can find me at the rec playing with my friends. Nice. A lot of my friends are into it, cousins, so we have a good time.
I love that. Yeah, I mentioned earlier I used to work for boys and girls clubs, and when I worked at a club in San Diego, it's probably when I stopped being an athlete. So I'm in my low 30s, and we had a game at lunch, like a couple, 2-3 times a week. And end the inning, Bosque does not get his hit. Rogers, unbelievable 3-hitter so far, shutting us absolutely down. Another average to below average, frankly, pitcher, absolutely shutting us down. A little depressive. I used to play though, and we play. This is when I decided, all right, I'm a former athlete. I'm no longer an athlete, and we would play a couple times a week. And I remember thinking, I'm gonna hurt myself. Like they are. There, it's amazing how, and I'm way older than you, how quickly, like everybody who's 21 is always 21. It might be a new dude every year, but there's always a 21-year-old. And I'm a year older every year. And by the time I hit about 30, man, I'm running down the court. I'm like, yeah, no, I'll come out when I know, it goes fast the older you get. But some of those games are some of my favorite sports memories. I played high school baseball. I played high school football. And I have some fun memories from there. We could talk about that, I suppose. But some of my favorite memories as a 55-year-old guy are things that nobody saw, right? It's just I had fun doing it with buddy Steve and my buddy John. And, remember when this happened? It's more fun to do that. I played there wasn't a church I went to. It wasn't even my denomination. Far from it, actually. They were allowed 2 whatever, I don't want to say it, whatever they were on the team. And my favorite basketball memories are from like the 8th grade playing in that other religions league. And it was, it's just funny how it doesn't matter. Like competition is fun, whether you're playing, Jason, that video of Jason Worth hitting that home run in the rec league,
and the men's league,
that's the Jason Worth highlight. And you know what? That was at the rec center in Hoboken somewhere, right? And I love that about sports. I really do. It's me, David T says, is Preston McDevitt pitching for Baltimore? I think I saw that Pete might be live doing the game too, because it's his team, Baltimore. I don't know. I know he's pitching awesome for whoever he's pitching for. So you said your best sport was basketball? Is that what you said? I feel like I already forgot what you said.
No, definitely was baseball because I actually played it. But now definitely is basketball for sure.
Gotcha. You did say your mom wouldn't let you play football. My mom also told me I couldn't play high school football, and that was the first time that I signed her name and ignored her. And a couple weeks after playing for a while, she said, well, yeah, I kind of figured you'd do that. So I thought I was going to get killed, but whatever, it worked out. That was a long time ago, and whatever. Anyway, great to see you back with, thank you, buddy. Mr. Texas Wisdom, sir. David, friend from my first monetized YouTube channel. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Yeah, if you see Preston and or Pete, tell him I said hi. I love you guys. Miss you guys. Glad to see you here. Pop up in Bobby 8, first out of the inning. Cedric Mullins, 8-hitter. Dane Dunning back for our Rangers. Let's get back to baseball talk. Thoughts on Dane Dunning? He's got a chance here. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I actually kind of feel bad for him that he's here. I wanted to see him get a start because I'm a fan of the guy. I like him. He was our MVP as a pitcher at least a couple years back, and certainly he's lost something. But I was really hoping he'd get another chance. I think pitching him here might be taking away that start. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's fair. You hate to see how it has digressed since 23. I mean, he was the unsung hero. Him and Ezekiel Duran were the unsung heroes of 23, 100%. And just since then, it just hasn't been there. And it's not just a Ranger thing. He's cleared waivers twice, and so you hope that he can get big league guys out. You just hope that he can do it consistently. It looks like he keeps losing his classes right now, but hope that he can do it consistently and factor into the team somewhere. We know. He can pitch out of the bullpen. He can start. And especially like now with all the pitching injuries, how clutch it would be to have someone like Dunning give you good innings. Like you said, unfortunate that he's not going to get the start tomorrow. But you hope that he can find a way to factor in somehow or another.
Any thoughts on the starter tomorrow? I mean, if Latz is more likely Wednesday, I mean, I feel like I follow it pretty good, and I can tell you I have no idea. It's going to be an
Yeah,
opener, maybe?
maybe it could be an opener, could be bullpen day. At this point, we don't even know. Sometimes I'll show up to
Yeah.
work. I'm like, who is even pitching today? I had to look at my
I
phone.
mean, yeah, the last week it's been DeGrom and Leiter and Hua. I mean, I don't even know, right?
Yeah, and a lot
What,
of bullpen days.
is Kumar going to stay in the rotation, do you think? And I'm talking about until we get back Gray and Bradford, do you think? I mean, he certainly has looked really good his last two starts.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, anyone that can make consistent starts for you is gonna have to be there, especially with Evaldi and Malley on the shelf. So we'll see. Yeah, but he's been good. I mean, certainly no signs of anything that would get him taken out now. So we'll see when the other guys get back. Maybe he's kind of the odd man out. We'll see. But for now, yeah, I think he's in there.
6-0 Baltimore, 1 out, Obama 8. Rogers kind of out of nowhere. I mean, he's had 2 good outings, a 2-inning, and I think a 6-inning. This will be his 3rd time out there. He's been really, really good. I'm sure Baltimore's excited. As a Ranger fan, I'm less so because we're going to get shut out again, or we're at least getting shut out right now. What do we got? Well, it's the 8th inning. We got 3 more outs.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You don't have Seager in there. It's not your best lineup, but am I too much of a homer here, Kane? I mean, I get dinged on X by people every day because I still think we're going to win the West. Am I nuts? Is the offense going to come around? I still believe we are, by the way. I can answer my own question. I still believe it. But every night, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the division, and you got to be lucky that you're in the West and not any other division because, I mean, I guess, the AL East is very, very competitive as usual. Yeah. The Central, they've kind of exceeded expectation, although they have fallen off. Really, the Tigers are playing well, but the rest of the teams have kind of fallen off. Yeah, I mean, I think when you're 7 games out, I don't think you can say, that you have no chance of winning the West, especially with the team that the Rangers have. I think just the nature. I mean, they're 2 games out of a wild card spot right now. So, to say anything like the season's over, anything like that is, I think, a little far fetched. I just think I kind of always like to say that I understand where people are coming from because this is a team that has not met expectations this year. And last year, after the World Series run, obviously severely failed to meet expectations. So I get it. I think there is reason for concern. Yeah. And I think, rest assured, bigger questions will be answered if they need to be answered. But now is certainly not that time to start
totally
cutting people and trading people. And if you think it's because I don't ask good enough questions, which I have a lot of people in my mention saying that's why they're losing, I'm so sorry to break it to you, but that is not why they're
Marcus Simeon's not going to hit today because Kane asked. Well, they really got on Evan the other day for asking Bochy about what? Fishing, I think it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was. He caught a shark. That's what it was. And I wish maybe it's just one guy, and Evan happened to respond to it. Maybe that's why we all noticed it. But boy, some of these people, I take it fairly seriously, but it's supposed to be fun, people.
I mean, we ask about the offense every day, twice a day. It's just like it's.
I mean, how many times can you get the same question and the same answer?
It's the same situation. It's just not clicking.
One more question that I won't let myself not ask you. I feel like I'm firing at you. I hope you don't feel like I'm firing too many at you. But
I love it. Let's
the luxury. Go. Good. The luxury tax. So if I'm asked to argue why the Rangers won't win a playoff spot this year, here's my answer. Nobody ever asked this, but here would be my answer. Because we're not going to spend any money because we're trying to stay under the stupid luxury tax. What are your thoughts on that? From what I've seen, and I know it's hard to get a feel on the numbers, different websites have different data, and neither of them are official. And I guess the truth is we don't really know. But with Tyler Malley likely to earn that, I think it's a $5 million bonus. So I don't have it in front of me. I might be off on that. But I don't think there's any money to be had. So the only trade, if we're going to stay, as they've said they will, and they should because of the stupid rules, under the salary cap, even though it's a luxury tax, but it's a salary cap. If we're going to do what they said they're going to do, and if we're going to do what we need to do for the future under the current CBA, how are we going to make a deal and not add payroll and bulk up our offense and or our bullpen? Is there any chance we can add payroll in your opinion? I don't know how much I didn't ask you. I didn't tell you I was going to ask this question, but I don't know if you're a salary cap connoisseur guru or whatever, but yeah. I see no trade deadline presence under the tree.
Yeah, I can't say that I am super in the weeds on that, but to your point, yeah, you want to stay under the salary cap. It's hard to see them adding, crazy crazy salaries, and it's an
There's no
interesting.
money if we're going to stay under the number. There's no
It's a
money.
very interesting, broad conversation, and I think that wow, Jackson Holiday 3 hits, goodness.
Yeah.
I think that it's so interesting to see. I think we're just now starting to see how smaller market teams are starting to kind of counteract that in terms of extending young players. Like we saw it with Jackson Churio, who hadn't even played an MLB game and got an extension. We saw it with Kristen Campbell, who's now in AAA right now. It's so interesting, and the Red Sox aren't even a smaller market team, and they're doing it. But it's so
To
interesting,
Brian Hayes.
right?
Is it the smart play or is it a stupid play? Well, that
Yeah.
depends on the crystal ball of the future. You never know.
It's so interesting to see how teams are starting to counteract that. Yeah, I don't know how you move forward with that, but it's very clear that obviously certain teams are willing to spend and screw it. I don't care how much we have to pay, and certain teams are not. I will say the increase for how many times you are over the tax is crazy, but I mean you got to spend to win. And like I look at a team like the Pirates. It's like they need to spend money. Like get someone to take your money. It's like it's very interesting. And then we've got teams like, I don't know, I think like the Blue Jays who are kind of tied to Anthony Santander because they weren't going to go out and spend $700 million, but they were into it and couldn't get someone to take their money. And it's
Not
like,
crazy. Yeah.
it's interesting. It's very interesting to think about. Do they need to do something generally? I don't know. That's a little above my pay grade, but it's interesting to see and think about. And yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see as we move forward because we're just now seeing guys start to get extended, young guys start to get extended. I want to see how those play out for sure.
Laureano's very unhappy with that strike 3 call. I'm unhappy with us being shut out going into the top of the ninth. Dane Dunning, I don't know, that 2 or 3 innings. I'm not watching it as closely as I normally would, but Dane Dunning's looked good is my point. But I'm still a little unhappy that he's pitching because I really thought he would get the start tomorrow. Travis Jankowski got signed by the Mets again. Favorite former Ranger that you've covered? I love to hear these kind of stories.
Oh, he's up there.
I knew he was. That's why I asked it.
There's so many. Oh my gosh. I think the one that stands out is obviously Nathaniel Lowe. He was the first player.
2 bombs yesterday, right? He's got some good numbers in the first.
He was the first player I ever met, so he stands out. My first year on the beat, Charlie Culberson was here, and he was great. So him definitely.
What's going on with him? Isn't he trying to make it as a pitcher? Did I read that?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I know a guy who needs to do an article about Charlie. I like Charlie Culberson. I would read that article.
Yeah. So definitely him. Definitely Lowe. Lowe is the first player I ever met, like I said. So definitely him. But yeah, there's a lot of like Mitch Garver. A lot of good guys. It sucks because when certain players get traded, like fans are like, oh, it is what it is. But then like you're like, man, I got to talk to that guy. Like, I'm not.
You don't get to see him anymore. Well, that's the thing about the end of the year. Hey guys, maybe I'll see you again. Maybe I'll never see you again. That's got to be hard every year.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is tough for sure. But it's a business at the end of the day, and so you know that. But what a lot of people don't realize is like, everyone on the team is friendly, but there are some guys you talk to more than others, and it's rare when in any team. It's rare when the star player is that guy that you talk to more than others. So a lot of times it's kind of maybe the guy that is a little vulnerable that you enjoy talking to, and then he gets dealt, and it's like, man, it's traded and all that. And so, yeah, definitely a lot of former players, and I always enjoy when they come back and get to see them for sure. And like seeing Will Venable again, manager of the White Sox, even like coaches, like when the Dodgers came, seeing Chris Woodward, he was the manager when I joined the beat. So yeah, just seeing
Texas Rangers fans hate that guy. He's such a nice guy, at least from the stuff I've heard.
He was a very, very, very nice guy, and so it's always fun to see the people that come back, and
and you made me think of it. Andrew Haney was interviewed by Jared Sandler in the dugout. Was it yesterday? I think I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. And when I was listening to the interview as I was getting ready for my show, it brought me back to I was driving to Disney in the car listening to the radio the day that Andrew Haney talked about, Creed. I couldn't think of the name of the band, and how all that started with the, Take Me Higher thing, and you get to be there for it. I think that's pretty neat. I don't know if this is a good segue or not, but you talked about kind of the friendlier guys. One of the critiques I've seen a little bit that I would like your take on, maybe you shouldn't answer it, so maybe I'll leave that up to you. I think one of the things with the Rangers is their some of their biggest stars aren't well, they're almost stoic. I mean, Corey Seager, fun dude, not so much publicly. Marcus Semien, great family guy, loves his family, super good dude. I think you would agree. Not Mr. Public charisma. Even Wyatt Langford, unbelievably fiery, will run through a wall. Doesn't really show that. I mean, he's starting to a little bit more. I think one of the thoughts people have, and maybe I'm having it, is that some of their best players aren't the kind of Vince Lombardi, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, fire up the team kind of guys. What are your thoughts on that with 2 outs in the ninth? Game's almost over.
Yeah, I think it's fair to an extent. Like, I think that their leaders of the team are just guys that just go about their business and lead by example. And I think that's some people's leadership styles and some not, and maybe not so much fans type of leadership style. But I mean, they lead by example. They just go out and they do things. You know, pretty much every guy on the team, as the game is now over, unfortunately. But yeah, I think pretty much all this team's leaders are just lead by example type. Don't have that guy that just is going to stand up in the locker room and give a huge speech, you know. But they're for sure leading, and great. You know, all of them are great guys. I love talking to Marcus Semien. He loves basketball as well, so we guys talk about basketball.
He does
like that too. So.
Well, he played. Did he play in college? Do I have that right? I think he did.
I don't know if he played in college, but I know he played. He's a huge Warriors fan. He always tells me that the Warriors are going to get Giannis, and I always tell him that that's not going to happen. But
Giannis and Steph before Steph's done. Wow. Crazy. Well, there's been rumors about Giannis coming here for a while, right? I don't know if they were real or not, but I remember reading a bunch of that.
Yeah.
Jim Rockford Files, anybody? Terrible, just terrible, sell. I don't know. I'm not on the sell thing. I don't really think. I mean, I don't want to keep you too much longer. The game's over, and I've already kept you for 9 innings. But if we were to sell, for me, it's names like Malley, expiring contracts. This is expiring contract. I think Gray's on expiring contract. There's not. My point isn't to try to name guys that might leave if we sell, and I don't believe we're going to sell. But there's not that much to sell. I mean, a lot of people talk about Doley. Doley's under contract through next year, and if you send out somebody like Doley, who's your right fielder? Sebastian Walcott's not ready. A lot of people don't think he'll even be ready next year. Maybe that's where I should end it. I mean, we talked maybe a little prospects. The cupboard's not bare. My last article that I put on my Substack was kind of about our farm system and the upcoming draft. Sebastian Walcott might be one of the top 5 prospects in all the game, and he's hitting for power, but there's a lot of swing and miss there. Do you see him staying at shortstop? Do you see him moving over to first? I think he's going to be a right fielder. And where do you think the organization is? And to Jim's point, if we sell, who do you think might bail on us?
Well, I think Walcott that dude's an athlete. I met him at FanFest for the first time, and I was like he's younger than me, and I'm like, dude, like, can I take some of your, like, can I just steal a little bit of your height, please? Like, you know,
he's an impressive specimen. Yeah.
He's athletic. I think he could play a lot of places. You know, we'll see where he projects. He still has developing to do, like you said, does have some swing and miss in this game. I'm not super tapped into the farm system, but I know I think, you know, compared to a lot of other teams, it's definitely in the bottom half of the league for sure. Probably even bottom third. So the draft is going to be big, kind of helping to get that. And to your point, if we do sell, there is a couple. Yeah, you look at guys on expiring contracts who can maybe help out that farm system. But I don't think we're there yet. But could we get there? Yeah. And I think you mentioned pretty much the guys. There's some bullpen arms, Martin. Yeah. You know, guys like that. But yeah, Malley and Gray expiring contracts. Yeah, you look at expiring contracts for sure. Seager's not going anywhere. Simeon's not going anywhere, right? The young guys aren't going anywhere.
Nor should they.
Nor should they. So there's not a ton to sell, like you said. And so I think you know, but ultimately, like, we're not there yet. Like, we're 2 games out. You're not 2 games out of the wild card spot and decide to sell. Like, we're not crazy.
I mean, here's 3 reasons why Kane is exactly right. The 2024 Detroit Tigers. Oh, and wait a minute. The 2023 Texas Rangers, and the 2023 Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, my point is, you don't have to go back to the Revolutionary War times to see when somebody's 7 or 8 back. I mean, they won a ring. Not this one. This is my wedding ring. But they won a ring when, in the middle of September, the fandom had quit.
Yeah.
The middle of September 2023, Rangers Twitter was, oh, we're out of it. So I don't know. It is what it is. Kane McCutcheon at Kane. What is it? At Kane underscore. But it's on the bottom of the screen here in a minute. Make sure you give him a follow. Look, we're done here. The game's over. We got shut out. Horrible offensive performance by my boys. Kane, what do you want to promote? What do you want to tell the people before we say goodnight? For anybody who's watching live now or watching on the replay, where can they find you? What do you have coming up? Anything you want to promote? The floor is yours.
Yeah, so all my stuff is on X, at Kane_McCutcheon6. We'll be posting all my stuff there. I'm going to be at the ballpark this weekend, so I'm excited to see everyone there. And it's going to be fun. I'm going to be at the Ranger games, the Wings game, so it's going to be fun. I'm going to keep writing stories. I also fill in for the company if they need me to write a basketball story or whatever. So I do some of that from time to time. So if you want to keep an eye out for that, I'll write an op-ed occasionally about basketball or football or whatever. So exciting times. You can find all my stuff there. Going to keep trying to post on TikTok. A little tough to film and edit TikToks while I'm doing my actual job, but I'm going to try and keep trying. And
like all the girlies in the back.
Yeah, so
I have 4 daughters.
So I'm gonna try to get content up periodically, but so you can find me there, and I'm gonna keep pumping out the content. It's gonna be fun.
Now, you said early you had a podcast. You don't currently have one, do you? If you do, I don't know about it.
I do not currently, no.
Okay, I thought so. Okay. I wanted to ask you that earlier, and whatever you said made me think of that. That's him, Kane McCutcheon. I had a blast with you. I hope you didn't feel like I was peppering you the whole time. And I kind of was, but I was interested in it. I hope the people who are watching both live and on the replay loved it. I will take this. I will cut it up into a whole bunch, hopefully, if I have time. I do have a daughter who's having a birthday this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. But I had a blast tonight. I mean, I hated the Ranger result, but I really had fun getting to know you even better and just kind of picking your ear about all the topics we hit on, from college baseball to WNBA to the Rangers, but also diving into kind of your career and how you got there. And I think it was good. I hope anybody who's interested in this got some value out of it. I think they did. That's Kane. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna end the show, but I'll say thank you to you one-on-one when we're done. And that's it for the game, guys. We are done. We will be back live, God willing, tomorrow night and Wednesday night. Day off Thursday, unlikely Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all 3. Birthday weekend for one of my daughters. She turns 21 and she's my youngest. Yes, I'm old. Maybe Friday, yes, and probably no Saturday, no Sunday, but we'll see how that goes. Just watch for the shows. But we will be back here tomorrow night and Wednesday. Special guest tomorrow night, John Moore of the LLS. I hope I have that right. The Ranger podcast, who's with Jeff Wilson often. That'll be fun, and maybe another surprise guest Wednesday. I'll clarify that here in a minute. But anyway, I had fun tonight, Kane. Anything you want to say to people before we say good night?
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Jeff, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. I love the questions, love getting to talk about things. So yeah, I had a great time, and hopefully come back soon.
You are going to be invited probably back soon in like 5 seconds. You don't have to go, but you can't stay here. Have fun over the castle. Go Rangers. Maybe we'll score a run tomorrow. Maybe not. See you next time. Bye for now. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I hope you had a good time, whether we won or we lost. I guarantee I had a good time because you were here. I appreciate you being part of our Clubhouse crew, whether you're on my YouTube channel at Texas Clubhouse or on my Twitch, also at Texas Clubhouse, whether you watch on X at Jeff Bates on X, wherever, you're the best because you're here. You stayed all the way to the end. It means a lot. I'm going to drop my link tree right here so you can check me out other places. Listen, it just means a lot that you spend a little bit of your evening or your daytime with me here, watching a little baseball, talking a little baseball. I love this. I love building a community. I love watching baseball. I love talking baseball. And I'm just talking to myself if you're not here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to do anything cool for me, like the stream. Of course, I'd love it if you became a member of the channel and all those things. But the most important thing is you are here. I hope you come back again. I appreciate you. Have the best day ever. Go Rangers.